Welcome to Journey Through the Gate, Paranormal Portal Podcast, as we delve into the many questions and wonders brought on by the supernatural experience. What's on the other side of the gate? Let's find out together. Alright, mateys, how you all doing tonight? I'm so glad to see you, gatekeepers. So glad to be here. I cannot tell you what a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful circle of friends we have. I know my camera's a little off, so once I get started, I will see if I can get that adjusted for you. Hang on, let's see if this helps. Hold 1 minute. Yeah, we are definitely pulling it out of the old pirate booty tonight. So, last minute we decided to do something a little bit lighter. Welcome in, gatekeepers. And I know we had something else scheduled, and we all just got together collective as a group and said, you know what, we're going to do something light, something fun, something, you know, bouncy, trouncy, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to do bloodthirsty pirates. How does that sound? Sound good to y'all? Welcome in, everybody. Blue, how you doing? Are you kidding me? Chris, Sasha Bell. Hello, everybody. Donny. Everybody, welcome in. So let's bring in this wonderful round table of friends that come in last minute to put together a terrific show for you guys. I can't tell you how much behind the scenes stuff, and I just can't thank them enough. We have, let's see, she's not ready yet. So let's bring, I was going to say the lovely Laura, but let's bring in the lovely Dylan. Hello.
Thanks for the introduction. I like that. The lovely Dylan. Yeah.
The lovely Dylan from Creepy Unsolved. It's already everybody's Let's see your best pirate. I hope you all brought your own rum. Okay, and then we have Donny, who I know brought his own rum. Hello, Donny.
Hey.
Come on in here, the lovely
Hi.
Donny. And Laura, we'll just pull her up here when she's ready. She'll come in. She's doing some last minute cramming for the little test here. She's got a couple of little bits of information she's pulling up for you. So how wonderful. Welcome in, everybody. Thanks for doing this tonight. It's going to be fun, right?
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun.
Most definitely.
To tell you that this group, and why is the rum gone? They're already started. That's the spirit. Get in there. Linda, welcome in. Mairead, my lovely mod. Chris, Peta, oh look, oh, that's wonderful. And Edna, all these wonderful mods. Vixen, Chris, if you guys see anybody we missed, please welcome him in. Gatekeepers, welcome him in. You know the deal. Now I'm going to tell you, YouTube is getting a little tight. We don't know what's going to happen. If we do get shut like last time, I've run everything through. It's all been okayed, but I don't know if it's the same system. Don't panic. Just stay there in the chat. I'll stop it. We'll pop back up, and it should work. That's what Steve Stockton says. Word from Steve. He says, hello. I just talked to him a little while ago this morning, and he sent me wonderful pictures. I would share them with you, but I didn't get his permission, and he's so busy having a wonderful, wonderful time, and I couldn't be happier for him. So what do you guys have going on? And thanks this last minute pulling all this good information and stuff. Let's have a ball.
Man, I gotta say the shadows behind you, Donnie, they kill me every time. I see them.
Yeah.
It looks like something's jumping off the wall.
Oh my gosh, it does. Oh my gosh.
That's the shadow of my chair. I keep swiveling because I'm a jittery mess.
Oh, but it's so apropos.
Yeah.
It's so wonderful. Hey, Gray, Lindsay, wonderful. Welcome in, Uncommon Belief. Okay, so tonight it's going to be anything pirate. We've got some surprises in the background for you. We've got some fun pirate stuff. We've got, I don't have any treasure to show you, but the treasure that I have tonight is this group of friends that have come together last minute to do this for me and just have some fun and for you guys. That's how much you mean to us. Laura, you there, honey? She can't hear me. She's still got her head. She'll pop in. So I don't know where you guys want to start, but if you'd like, I've got just a little bit of information. I've got like a couple of pirates. I've got a couple ghost ships. I've got a little in search of mystery about the Mary Celeste. I mean, we've all been intrigued by pirates. Dylan, go first. What's the lore, do you think? What draws us? Is it they got away with so much, or is it the lifestyle? What do you think?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's the lifestyle. They're, you know, a man on the run. They're a bandit. They're mysterious. You know, they're kind of savage. It just, you know, the outlaw lifestyle. That's really captures everybody's attention, I think.
Right. I think so too. Donnie, how about you?
Yeah, they're like water cowboys.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's
Yeah.
like the Wild West on the sea.
Yeah.
That
And
is
you've actually done a show on the Old West stories and like ghost stories of the Wild West, right?
with
I think
Dan.
one of your old episodes.
Oh yeah.
So I'm thinking, man, the natural next step is pirates,
Yeah,
right?
right?
Yeah. I mean,
Well, the thing is, it's so much about it that, I mean, I really, when I did this show, I wanted to dig more because of what it was like to be on the ship. How long were they? You know, I found out some things. I know, Dylan, you found some great facts on, you know, these guys, and not all of them were guys. We're going to talk about that too. But the whole thing is a lot of these guys couldn't even swim. Some of them were shanghaied, like Steve
Dude,
tells
that's
us
just
about.
terrifying. Being on that ship, not being able to swim,
Right?
that's something out of this world.
It is. It is. And you know, you only have what you brought to eat. I don't know if you're going to bring up the whole part about the early bartenders. You know what I'm talking about?
I haven't
With the
came
grog.
across that yet.
Okay,
Oh, the
because I didn't
grog.
want to jump your information. Yeah, they actually were the first mixologists, and I as an, you know, a bartender that I've, you know, been many times, I find that amazing. What they did was they had the rum, of course, because the rum didn't spoil. That's what they drank mostly, just like in colonial times and everything else, because water on a ship would, you know, it would get slimy, it would get bacteria, it would, all this. So they mixed the rum with water, and then they added lemon for to stop scurvy. So
Yep.
now you've got
And they threw in the
basically
sugar too.
Yes.
Sugar to make it a little sweet.
to taste better.
Yep.
You know, so there you go. You can thank pirates if you like mixed cocktails. You know, I mean, it's just amazing some of the origin stories and stuff. You know.
Yeah, I think I read or listened to just a little bit before the show that what they're each issued like a pint a day of the grog,
Wow.
along with like the Royal Navy, because it kind of there's like origins there too. They did mix the rum with the water, like you said, to keep it from spoiling or getting slimy or whatever.
Right.
And then the pirates took it to the next level and they turned it into their own. They didn't like I guess the harshness of the rum and water alone, so they added, like you said, in the lemon juice and the sugar to give it more of an appealing taste.
it's really interesting the idea of they had to in order to stay hydrated, they drank alcohol. That's so counterintuitive to what I know about like hydration and alcohol, you know?
Yeah, they give and take from each other. Like, yeah, exactly.
And it was amazing, though, as bloodthirsty as some of them were, because again, and Glenn, you're spot on, and so are you, Chris Jarvis, and we're definitely going to get into that thanks to Donny, because he dug up some stuff I had never heard before. You know, I'm certainly no expert on pirates. You know, gosh, I'm not even an expert on ghosts, and I've been doing that 50 years. So, the thing is. It's just so intriguing. What would make somebody do this? I can see the adventure. I can see the absolute horror of it too, because like if you're Shanghai, think about it, what it's like to be Shanghai. Now that's something that came up because of the Shanghai tunnels, which are, you know, in Oregon, in Portland, where basically Steve lives. He's been in them. And you go to a bar, you're sitting there having a drink. The next thing you know, you're hit on the head, or you're slipped a Mickey. Basically, they put something in your drink to knock you out, or just hit you over the head with a sock with ball bearings in it or something. And they actually had these things where they could pull the lever, and the back would go down, or the wall would open up, or the floor would open up, and you'd just go down a tunnel. Next thing you know, you're on a ship and you don't see land anymore. So if you don't work, you don't eat. Now you're on there for 6 months, a year.
Wow,
And there's nothing you can do about it. You know?
it's like their own little prison sentence. You
That's a
in the
horror.
modern day slavery almost.
Yes, exactly.
Like-
Oh, geez. That's just, and what do? You have no way, nobody knows where you are. You don't have any way of getting word out. And then also you've got that whole thing about being marooned. And that really happened a lot. Most of the time they would maroon you if they wanted to toss you off the ship, put you on a desert island. We've all heard about that. Nobody goes to, with usually a bottle of rum and a pistol with one bullet in case you wanted to put yourself out.
Yeah, I remember that from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
Jack
Yep.
Jack Sparrow. You know, Sparrow. What do you braid his chest hair together to wrangle up some freaking turtles to
Did he? I don't
get
know.
off the island or something like that?
Well, so much of that Pirates of the Caribbean, all of them had a little flavor of
Oh yeah,
reality in it. You know, like Davy Jones' Locker and the whole thing. I think it had the Flying Dutchman, which is another famous
yep.
ghost ship. And you know, guys, I would have had more time. I would have had that for you. But we got so lucky, just that I had some of this stuff in the kitty for you guys, so I'd have something to show you. But that one has got the red sails. Anybody who sees it go by, your ship is destined to sink or be taken over by pirates. I mean, there's all this lore and all of the mermaid lore and everything goes with it. There she is. See, I should have said unicorn, you would have popped up. I said mermaid, and there you are. You're mixed with mermaid here. Welcome in.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this. Thanks so much for doing this.
Yeah.
So I'd like to ask you the question that I asked them.
Okay.
What's the lore about the pirates? What do you think?
What do you?
draws us? What's exciting about it? What keeps our attention and makes us look into all this stuff? What is it about them?
I think it's because it's so like it's not like anything we have today, really. I mean, I know there's pirates of today, but they're not like they were back then. And sorry, my nose is just
Cat fur.
yeah, pretty much that or dog hair.
Yep, that happens to me. So Mr. Dickens doesn't want me to get online. Speaking of Mr. Dickens, I have to say this before we really get in deep in this, and then we'll play a little pirate music, get in the mood, because you know how I love to put you guys in the mood, right? So,
Yep.
you know, and it's great because it works. But a wonderful mod of ours, one of our gatekeepers, sent me a wonderful package. Well, she said it was for me. Apparently, it was for Mr. Dickens because it came in a box. So he's like, Mom, get all this stuff out of here. Look at this wonderful box that Jackie sent me. So thank you, Jackie Canella. She's doing great. She's working on her house right now. She sends her love, and she's got some wonderful things going on in her life, and she will be back. She's okay. And she sent me some wonderful, just apropos for tonight, she sent me a bunch of bottles of wine, and here's another one. This one is a pink Pinot Grigio. Thank you very much. This one is the Black Forest. It's like a chocolate cherry, a nice dessert wine. And she sent me, in gatekeeper form, she sent me wonderful hot chocolate, bacon flavored, hot chocolate, and wonderful roses, candle roses. So thank you for the love. It means the world to me. And Dickens says thank you for the box. And Helen Wheels wants it, and every once in a while he'll let her. So there you go. Love all around. Thank you very much. Thank you, Linda, for your wonderful contribution in your PayPal. And I got your message, and I love you very much too. So thank you all very much. All of that helps out a lot. And we're really trying here with all the YouTube stuff. You know, we're all talking as creators and researchers here that we're so glad to have this platform, and we're so glad to be able to present shows to you. We have to be careful with our words. I can't believe it. In America, you got to be careful with your words, but I'm not going to tell you to do that. If you happen to go back and see a part that's cut out, or if they take the live chat out like 2 days later, you don't see it, that may have been what happened. I thought a couple of shows ago when we did the SS cupcakes with that's what I'm calling them from now on. They're cupcakes, and and both insulting and sweet at the same time. So we did that. We found out that Earl Flynn was a cupcake, and we found out that I think Lindbergh accidentally tripped over a curb and fell on a cupcake, and you know, things happen. Well, the reason that show got its chat pulled is because we said that there was a certain trial, starts with an R, ends in an E, it has an A and a P in it, and that's why they pulled it. A perfectly legal criminal trial that's documented and happened, and we used one word, and that's why they pulled it. So, words, I guess, have power, and as far as I'm concerned, we're not going to be like all stepping all over anything. If it gets pulled, it gets pulled. If it gets stopped or unmonetized, I mean, there it is. I want to tell you guys the story, and I don't think we should be tripping up on every little thing we say. You know, we can be careful, but I don't want to be walking on glass here. You know what I'm saying, guys? I don't know how you feel about it on your shows, but we work very hard for our shows. You know, yes, rope, Glenn. Very good. And yes, ding ding ding. You win some bacon flavored hot chocolate, which I can't wait to try.
Yeah. From now on, we're gonna call it doing a Cosby.
There you go. So, with everything going on, there's no way we could go around all the words. So tonight we're going to talk about bloodthirsty pirates. Are you ready? Feel free to start drinking your rum. I'm drinking Pepsi because my stomach is just awful. So
Yeah, I'm only having water.
So we have one now. Laura and I were talking about it, and Donnie, and I was talking about how the reason we pull up these in search of videos, because I think they're lost treasures. I think there's so much information in them. I have a story I want to share with you tonight. I'm not going to do it right now because we're going to let Dylan talk about the facts, but I wanted to play you just a little bit of the beginning of one just to get a little music in here for you. So, and we've got slides. We got the whole ball of wax here, guys. So let's see if this is the right. I think it might be. Watch your earbuds if it gets loud. I'm not sure, so be prepared. I hope it's not. I turned it down a little, so see if you could enjoy this. Here we go. Okay, wrong one, and take two. It's gonna be that kind of show, guys. Oh, there he is, folks, the Jolly Roger, and a little bit of what's called the Drunken Sailor. It's a sea shanty, and there were so many of those, and of course, like in anything, Dylan and I know a little bit of cadence, right there, bud? To keep
Oh, yeah,
everything
definitely.
in timing. And that's what it's all about. It's all about timing. It's like heave ho, heave ho, and
Lay
it's
ho heave. Yep.
yes, and it's the march, and it's all about the timing. And everybody had it from, workers in the field, chain gangs, pirates, and the military. Because Lord knows I've had to call some cadence. How about you, Dylan?
Once or twice.
Yeah, I had to drop once. My drill sergeant said, "Drop and give me 10 because you got no rhythm." I'll never forget it. And you
I
learned to
believe
get
it.
rhythm. Yep.
Oh, yeah, you do quick. Yep.
Absolutely. So you had some facts about pirates. You want to start off? Because I know you
I-
might
I
have to
can,
leave a
yeah.
little early. If you'd take it away.
So I pulled up a couple different websites. So I'll just pull out some that I thought were worth sharing tonight. The first one is about Blackbeard. If you know anything about pirates, you've come across this name, or even if you don't, you've heard the name Blackbeard. And he was known as one of the most feared pirates of all time. And one of his tactics that you may not know about is that he used to weave hemp into his beard. And before he would, board another ship to attack to seize it, he would light the hemp on fire. And it would create this smoky atmosphere and make him look demonic. And I thought that was really cool. I couldn't imagine someone coming at me like that. But I still don't know how Blackbeard could have functioned after, lighting this hemp up,
I don't know
It'd be
either.
in like a whole different state. It's almost like thinking of the Vikings
Right.
and what kind of stuff they used to take before they'd go into battle.
Right. And I got some pictures of that too, so we can back that
Blackbeard?
up. Yeah.
Oh,
I've got
nice.
not actual, pictures, but drawings and stuff,
Are you
like
sure
the
he
wood
wasn't just
carvings.
trying to get high?
That's
No,
what it
he was-
sounds like.
Yeah, it
was-
feels like
it
I
was
was just trying to
actually-
get high.
It was hemp fuses, Donnie, and it was so
Oh,
weird because he would actually, like he said, weave them in his
Hmm.
beard, and it had like a little stiffness to it, to where it would put off this smoke, and it said it made it look like he was a demon. It intimidated
mm.
the people he was coming from. But I think it made him fight faster because you got those fuses coming closer to your face and your beard. That you had to get in there and
You
get
want to
business done
take as
quick.
many as you can while you have
Yeah,
that scare tactic going on.
before your face caught on fire.
You know
That
what made me
too.
laugh? You know what made me laugh for a second? Like Blackbeard's trying real hard to intimidate his foes, and all of a sudden he just starts coughing like, oh, the smoke's in my face. Oh man, my eyes sting.
My eyes.
Yeah, why did I do this? I can't see anything.
It's too
Yeah.
funny. It's too funny. But yeah, go ahead, man. It's tripping. I don't know how he did it. So many had those little gimmicks though.
Yeah.
And you can understand that, in a lot of ways because intimidation, that's what it's all about.
That's half the
Your
battle, yeah.
reputation. Your reputation.
That
You
can
know?
move waves. Yeah.
Wasn't he the one too that was like very I see what you did there. Very good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was very punny.
It was funny, but that I think he was the one who had the reputation where like he wouldn't take any prisoners. So people before he ever pulled up when the ship went by and his flag went up, it was all about they just surrendered half the time. So that was a trip, and so intimidation works, and
Now,
and reputation.
his flag was different than the other flags too, like your traditional, skull with crossbones and stuff like that. He actually had. I don't know. I saw it somewhere in here. I don't know if this.
I
They
think
call
I
it the
got that
Jolly
too, babe.
Rogue.
I think I
But-
got that too.
You have to show him that picture later. It's actually it's a devil toasting, or it's like a demon toasting to the devil with a spear in his hand, spearing a heart. So you have to pull it up later for the imagery around that. But another cool fact I found was the eye patch, and you see that in every depiction of a pirate in movies throughout books, other things like that. And they always have these eye patches on, and a lot of people think it's because they lost their eye during a sword fight or something like that. And while that did happen, the eye patch actually held a different purpose. So you got these pirates out on the deck of the ship all day working in the sun and stuff like that. So they're exposed to these bright lights. And when they'd enter back into the ship and go under the deck, it'd be dark down there. So it's almost like they're instantly blinded. But with this eye patch, they kind of made one eye used to being in the dark. So when they'd go in there, they'd flip it up, and it's like they had almost like night vision. So like when
Incredible.
you wake up or when you come in from outside and go in your house and it's dark, it's almost like blinding. So this is how they got around that, and it'd be a tactic they'd use when they'd seize ships and stuff like that. When they'd go on board and they'd have to go into the underbelly, they'd be able to have their eyes automatically adjust.
Incredible. Simple little things, but it worked for them in their everyday. It's amazing.
It's
You know?
it's it's awesome. I'd like to really understand who came up with that too. Like,
Well, yeah, and think just because how many times have you covered what I mean? I knew it when I back in my teen days when I didn't know any better and I was driving around drunk. I'd always cover one eye. I guess maybe that might be the same thing. I mean, how many times people done that? Come
I
on,
think I've done that too. Or
Yeah.
squint one eye.
I admit it. I did it. They had no business being on the road. Don't do that, kids. No, no, no. Bad, bad, bad.
But you
But
almost
that's
you almost
amazing.
try to do that too when you come inside from the bright lights. You squint your eyes until they adjust, or
It
when you
makes
get
sense because you can flip it up so fast. And really, if you've ever been in one of these ships, it's really dark, man. It gets dark fast. There's no light down there. It's all just what I guess they used old oil lamps and stuff or whatever. But it's dark. There's no light. You know.
I know
Makes sense.
driving military vehicles with MVGs on, like it's kind of like the same tactic or whatever. So you only wear an MVG in one of your eyes, and the other eye is exposed to the dark light.
Yeah.
So you have the green light of your MVG in one eye, then it's like pitch black out the other, and it's supposed to make both your eyes adjust to see in the dark. But every time I drove, it just put me to sleep.
Yeah.
It'd be horrible.
Yeah, it doesn't work on everybody. I mean, it's just like anything else. Some people it makes you sick if you can't get it balanced, but that's incredible. I also heard that there's really no, I don't know where the parrot came from, but there was really no documented cases of a pirate ever having a parrot. So somebody just threw that in and it stuck. Peg leg, I believe, yes, but the
Yeah.
pirate, no. So that's incredible. What else did you find? That's good stuff, man.
The earrings. So, there's like kind of two facts based off this. They would wear gold earrings, like we know. They covered themselves in jewelry, but they'd wear these earrings, and it would be used to pay for their funerals if they died at sea or died during combat or just passed away. So that'd be enough money to cover their funeral expenses, and a lot of them they would have their address and sketched inside of the earring loop or like something like that. So if they were washed ashore, whoever discovered them would know where to send their body to. And
Incredible.
I heard this a while ago. Morgan Freeman wears earrings for the same thing to cover his funeral expenses. I don't know if you ever heard about that.
What?
I
What?
don't
That is amazing.
I don't know if it's just like an urban legend or
Right.
whatever, but I that's what I've heard, along the way searching the internet. I think he stated it once upon a time, but I thought that was a cool fact
It
and
is
how that
cool.
tied together. But another thing they would do, they would keep globs of wax in their earrings too, because I think somewhere in here I read Blackbeard's ship held 40 guns on it. And being around cannons and stuff like that, it's extremely loud. And if they didn't find a way to protect their ears, then over time they're all going to go deaf. So they'd use these globs of wax and they'd put them in their ears before they fired off the guns to kind of is like an impromptu like earplug.
Yeah.
The same method there.
It's so important because we always in the military we had those little foam ones, those little orange ones that expand. You see them all over. Like, police your area, police your area. Crazy.
You also have to
But it works.
consider that those old-timey cannons from the 17 and 1800s, you got to imagine they're firing those off a bunch lined up indoors. They're coming from the bottom of the ship too.
Right.
Yep.
So that sound's got to be real awful.
Yeah.
it
And
doesn't-
the creek.
Yeah.
Doesn't
my God,
dissipate,
The smells, man, the smells. You got seawater and the smell of the oil on the ship that would heat up in the heat of the day, and the salt water and the fish smell and the vomit. I mean, because there was vomit. There was vomit. I mean, they're getting seasick. Can you imagine waking up Shanghai, you're drunk? You wake up, you didn't eat unless you worked. You don't have any idea what you're doing. Like we said, most of these guys couldn't swim. It's just, to me, it seems like unless you were in complete control and understood how to man your ship and everything else, the turmoils of the day and just everything in the atmosphere is just so Glenn, definitely body odor, all of this, and then just rum. Lots of rum and rice and I guess like hardtack. Anybody hear anything about what they ate a lot other than fish and things?
Oh, hardtack? I know about that.
Right,
It's
but I was
like,
thinking
yeah.
it must be something like that, Civil War-ish times.
Actually, looked into it a little bit. They ate a lot of salted pork and salted
Okay.
beef. Like
That makes
they
sense.
have like barrels just filled with salt and then like dried pork or beef.
Right, and we're getting a couple of comments, not to cut you off, but just to be sure I got this in, that there were a lot of monkeys as pets. That makes sense, being the fact that they were all over the Caribbean, and also the cats. I did remember reading something about that, where a lot of to keep the rats off the ship and stuff like that, and they ate bacon. Well, there you go. They didn't have it too bad if they ate bacon. But go ahead, Dylan. That's interesting stuff, man. The earrings get me because you think, here they are. They're plundering and and stealing from other ships and of course towns, and they all had their own shtick. We've all seen like the Black Sails and what was the other one? I can't remember. It was just Black Sails, wasn't it? With all the pirates we were talking about, Donnie?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you saw that, and some of it was the town where everybody kind of traded. And they knew what was going on. It was pretty much all pirates, and and everything that goes with them, and. Here they have earrings, but they're trusting their mates to take the earrings, sell them, and use the money to bury them. Honor among thieves. It's it's almost nuts to think they would do it, but I bet you a lot of them followed through because you have that camaraderie. In some cases, some didn't care. As you see, you get stabbed in the back quicker than anything else. It's like being in a sea mafia, basically. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I got a few more.
Go ahead.
I don't want to like the one I'm going to let you guys talk about later. It's I'll save it. But to add to marooning, it says pirates didn't actually make people walk the plank, and most of the time they just killed prisoners right away. But when they did decide to, torture prisoners, there's a couple different tactics they use. One was marooning, and another was called keel hauling. So this involved dragging people or dragging other sailors from behind the ship in the water for extended period of times. I'm imagining it was till they drowned, but oh my God, that'd be a horrible way to go.
You're getting ripped by barnacles underneath. If you've ever been up against a barnacle, I mean, I don't wish that on anybody, but if you've ever been around, like I grew up, on the coast. So, I mean, barnacles are extremely sharp, and it would drag you up. I mean, they did a good scene of that because they killed Teach, who was supposed to be Blackbeard. In the sails, and they did that to him. That didn't happen in real life. It happened to a lot of people. It didn't happen to him. I'll tell you what did happen to him. But that was awful, and it's just, I can't imagine doing
Then
that.
you mix in the salt water and just,
Yeah.
a horrible way to go.
Yeah, like razors, and absolutely, they really are. It's just as, rough as Carl, uncommon, absolutely. Just, horrible. The things that people find to do to each other just to create that fear or that, what's the word for it? The rumor, your reputation, goes before you. You've all heard that.
It precedes you, yeah.
There you
Your
go.
reputation precedes you.
There it is.
Yep.
And that's it. And I think like you said, Donnie, in the Old West, very similar, right? And it's the same thing. What do you think, Laura?
Oh, what was the question? I was just listening and I'm reading the chat.
It's okay. It's okay. No, we're talking about barnacles.
Yeah.
Barnacles bad. It's cool. Go.
Okay.
Very sharp. It's just awful. I mean, to do that to somebody and drag them under the ship like that, it's just nasty. What was that called again?
Keel hauling?
Keel hauling.
Keel hauling.
Nasty.
Kind of to tie into the reputation preceding you, there was another flag outside, the Jolly Roger flag, and I'm sure you've read about this. It was the red flag, the
Yes.
blood red flag. And I don't know who flew this flag, but it says this was the most feared flag to see, and a lot of people would jump overboard just so they didn't have to face like horrible deaths. So they thought it was a better way to go drowning than to face whoever flew these flags.
Yeah. And one of them that did that was Blackbeard, I've read.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, he was. You have to think about the pirates and stuff. Now, I was lucky enough to go to Jamestown when I was a kid, and they had like the replicas of the the Nina, the Pinta, and Santa Maria, all that stuff there.
Yep.
You go on it, and you're looking at the size of the cots. Now, the cots, well, not cots, they're basically just slabs of wood that were built in the side, almost like you would do shelves. They were no longer than 5 foot. And they
Yeah,
were
it's
very
tiny.
low. They were all very small because of lack of nutrition and other things and genes, and depending where they came from. Of course, every region had its size, but Blackbeard was well over 6 foot, so he was already like a foot and a half taller than everybody else, and that too gave him that.
He looks like a monster. Yeah.
Exactly, because most of them, your average dude was 4'11", 5'2", all in there. Those were the big guys. So it's really weird if you had somebody that was extremely, like if you got, when people started traveling like that and you got, your Nordics mixed with this and, all that, and sizes started to change. But when everybody mixed up, especially Shanghaiing, because you could get picked up anywhere and wind up someplace else completely. Incredible. What a life, right?
Yeah, I went to Jamestown last year. It's so cool to see those ships. It
Yeah.
really is.
It really is. And it's different, that you see the way they were made. I can't believe being out in the ocean on one of these things for anybody, whether you're, immigrants coming through from, the UK to Ellis Island or being pirates or being anybody like that out in the middle of the ocean, not being able to see land. I just can't imagine that feeling, especially if I couldn't swim or I didn't have a lifeboat. You've got this tiny little canoe type lifeboat. They're really not that
Yeah.
big. It's ridiculous. I just don't know how they did it. How many people here like being, I love being out in the boat nice and slow. I'm not into this fast, jumpy stuff. But my sister and her husband actually sold everything they had and they bought a 27-foot sailboat and they went up and down the
Wow.
coast for the next 15 years and they lived on it. They went through 3 hurricanes. They went through the whole thing where they had to seal the whole ship with the cellophane, you know what I mean? The
Yeah.
cellophane, and stayed on it during a hurricane in dock.
Holy cow.
I don't know how they did it,
No,
but,
thank you.
Yeah, no way. No way. And I'm like, you do know there's sharks in the water, right? I mean, just hands down. That's if you survive the drowning. Just saying.
I've only been on the ocean like one time. We went when we were down in Virginia. We went out whale watching, so we went way out until you can't see the coastline anymore. It was really
Right.
cool,
Yeah.
but I was like, this wasn't related. I didn't get seasick, but I was really sick when we ended up going out on the water. So it was kind of miserable for me the whole time. I'd go from inside the shack to out sitting on the deck and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
That sucks.
It was pretty cool.
It's. I really like it. It all depends on who you're with, what type of boat you're on. After a while, it starts to settle because you can kind of see other other ships and other boats and things like that right here on the Jersey coast. Been on them a lot. Love to go crabbing, fishing for flounder, that kind of. Never did a lot of deep sea or the marlin stuff. I never had that experience, but went out far. But I always trusted who I was with, and I never. I was a kid. You're kind of fearless when you're a kid. Now, forget about it. There's just too. I know how fast. People say, "What's a big boat?" And I'm like, "Titanic was a big boat. Thank you very much." So, a big ship, So there's that. Do you have any more? Because I want to back you up with some pictures to give people a visual on this because I've got a little bit of what you talked about.
So I got 2 more. I got
Go ahead.
one about treasure, and one about pirates not being all males. And I'll save that one for you guys to talk to because I know you guys have stuff for that.
Yeah, Laura's got some stuff on that, and so does Donny.
So it goes on to talk about treasure, and we all perceive pirates as looting and pillaging and having all this gold and secret islands and burying treasure, but it wasn't really like that. Like the loot that they would take would be more like food, lumber, clothing, animal hides, like stuff to survive. It wasn't like these guys were rock stars or making off with a bunch of money. It was more like a way to live lifestyle.
That's amazing because we always do focus on the treasure, and there were some that were very famous for their treasure and made that whole buried treasure, and that hidden thing, and guards and skeleton guards and all that kind of mess, But you're absolutely right. Most of the time it was trading, it was rum. A lot of the treasure they spoke of was rum because they had
Yeah.
to hide it. They were afraid people were going to take it. It's crazy. Not what we would think is treasure. Because
Not like the Goonies.
jewels. Yeah, all the jewels and stuff like that. Now there was some like that, if they.
Yeah,
knew.
probably a few, but it wasn't. Every pirate wasn't making it.
And I don't remember. Each ship was different, but like someone said here, I think I can't remember whether it was Glenn or Blue, that said that the captain was really at the mercy of his crew because then you get the mutiny. We've all seen
yeah.
the movies and we've all heard. I mean, if they turn on you, that's it. It's over. And I think that Black Sails did a good job of that, where we said it was basically like the mafia on the sea because somebody's always going to want your position. If you're the baddest sword fighter, you're going to have all the other sword fighters coming up trying to be the best. And same thing is like Donny
You want
said
that
in the
name, you want
West.
that reputation. Yeah. You want to be the baddest Mama Jamma, you know?
Yeah, yeah. It's like the baddest on the sea. And
Yep.
you've already brought up, is that, you said you did the women, we're going to let them do that. So
Yep.
let's bring up Kid and Blackbeard. You guys want to see a little bit of what they look like? I've got a little bit here, and I'm going to do my best to read the information. It may not be timed perfectly, but I will stop it if we need more time, because I want you guys to hear this story, because here's two pirates that not only had good stories behind what they, the things that they did and their exploits and, and everything, but they actually wound up being pirate ghosts. So they were kind of extra special for the show. So I thought I would do that. So if you guys are ready, I'm going to pop it up. It's about 3-4 minutes. So let me see if I can hit the right one this time. Oh, wait, and yep, I think this one's it. Let's see. And if it's got the same beginning, we're just going to let it roll because it's just good music. So here we go. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning. That's actually supposed to say Ghost Pirates, my bad. She rises early in the morning. Putting in the longboat until he's sober. Putting in the longboat until he's sober. Putting in the longboat until he's sober. Early in the morning. Way, hey, get up, she rises. A little bit of Jolly Roger. I love him so much. The Jolly Roger are... Okay, this is Captain William Kidd, one of the most legendary pirates of the 17th century. He may be best known for the legend of his buried treasure. Generations have been entertained by the tales of gold, jewels hidden along his travels. Kidd began as a trusted and beloved privateer for the crown, essentially a pirate authorized by the British government to defend its ships. It did not last long. His pirate side got the best of him, and he plundered a 500-ton Armenian ship called the Quida Merchant off the coast of India. The ship's owner was a powerful minister and demanded justice. Fearing that he would soon be subject to trial, Kidd took initiative by hiding parts of his treasure on the Gardiner's Island in New York. It was suspected that he also hid bounty on a Block Island and Liberty Island. There he is, getting the treasure buried. And Liberty Island. Yes, that Liberty Island, the one with the Statue of Liberty. Although these suspicions were not confirmed before Kidd's execution in 1701, the rumors lingered and the tales grew. People are still fascinated and puzzled by the possibilities of his buried treasure. It seems that not only the history of buried treasure lives on, but perhaps Captain Kidd hasn't been silenced after all. Rumors of his ghostly form being seen floating around about the islands. Ships that pass along them have told of eerie lights, and sailors whispered of Kidd's ghosts watching and waiting. Captain Kidd's ghost has been seen at Trinity Churchyard and looking, because he was supposed to be buried in the churchyard and they didn't bury him, so they say he's looking for where he was supposed to be buried. Okay, and right here it is the Liberty, the churchyard is framed by the walls of the old Fort Wood at Liberty Island. Pirates used to be hanged at nearby Gibbet Island, which is now known as Ellis Island today. The Liberty Island rumors just may hold true after all. Allegedly, in 1825, two soldiers who had heard whispers about the buried treasure were assigned to the island, and they were determined to find it. After a great deal of searching, they found Captain Kidd's chest, but before they could open it, the captain's ghost arose in a haphazardly demonic form, furious that they would dare to steal his most prized possession. The men were so terrified that they fainted instantly. I love that part. Whether or not this and many other accounts are true, the thought of buried treasure and the pirate's life still dazzles the dreams of many a dreamer today. That is Captain Kidd, and there he is right there watching that buried treasure and guarding it still today. Let's see. There's Gibbet's Island. Wait a minute, let me go back and show you that one more time. There he is right there. That is Kidd. This was a painting, I forget who the artist was, but he also married a very rich lady, and when he was on the island, he kind of lived the life of a gentleman until his reputation kind of got the worst of him, and, you know, he couldn't do that anymore. But, like I said, his ghost haunts the Statue of Liberty, so it's a little crazy. There it is. That's what the island looks like today. Incredible to me. It's just so weird to see stuff now and think of all the stuff that went on. You know what I mean? Okay, our next pirate, right about here. This is going to be... Where are we? Hang on, guys. Let me find... Okay. Blackbeard, also known as Edward Teach, has gone down in history as one of the most notorious pirates ever to set sail. According to North Carolina Ghost, he died in 1718. There he is, right there. Turn that down just a bit. There's your pick. See the smoke around his head?
There you go, Donnie.
That's it? How cool is that? Okay, according to North Carolina Ghost, he died in 1718, but many residents of North Carolina will tell you that his spirit lives on around Ocrachoke Island, where he often anchored his ship in a channel known as Teach's Hole, and there it is right there. That's what it looks like today, folks. Okay? Blackbeard was known for his menacing appearance. He terrified foes by tying the fuses, and there's his flag, I'll leave that up, for tying the fuses around and weaving it in his beard and lighting them before he stepped into battle, giving himself a demonic glow. It is said that his ships surrendered as soon as he confronted them, based upon his frightening appearance and violent reputation alone. There is no record of Blackbeard ever even having killed anyone during a raid. I find that amazing.
Yeah, that's wild.
Isn't that wild? Those he encountered simply complied with him or threw themselves into the water and drowned. That's a reputation. And how do you get a reputation if you're not killing anybody? That's amazing to me. Blackbeard pillaged ships from the Caribbean to the Carolinas. Well, maybe his crew did, but, you know, who knows? Blackbeard pillaged ships from the Caribbean to the Carolinas until November 22nd, 1718, when Alexander Spotswood, the governor of Virginia, sent Lieutenant John Maynard. Now, this is the guy, if you watch Black Sails, that went and got him and did that where he ran him underneath the ship 3 or 4 times and he wouldn't die. It was a horrible scene. It's horrible to watch. Maynard couldn't be intimidated. He captured Blackbeard's entire crew and had the pirates' captain's head was hung from Maynard's ship as a grisly token of victory while his body was tossed overboard. That is his flag, and that's what Dylan was describing to you. And there he is again in another painting done in about 100 years after his death. So still the legend lives on. Legend has it that Blackbeard's ghost, appearing as an eerie moving light, can be seen moving under the water at Teach's Hole. Some even say that when it rains, you can hear Blackbeard's voice in the distance wailing, "Where's my head?" Strange activity has been recorded at North Carolina's Topsail Inlet as a long history of pirate activity. The legendary Stede Bonnet, and I want to show you a picture of him. Let's see if I can pull that right quick. This guy was a dandy, I'll tell you that. Where is he? It's right about here. Here's old Stede Bonnet. Terrifying looking, isn't he? So that's old Stede. Now, he was called the gentleman pirate, and the reason being is because he had a lot of money. He got married. His wife, he said his wife was real naggy, and he basically bought his own ship, hired a crew, and became a pirate to get away from his wife. Seems a little drastic to me, but there you go. That was his story. So He was captured nearby. Blackbeard, too, has his ties to that region. This is topsail. He was one of his favorite stopover points for long voyages. Therefore, it makes sense that some consider the region to be haunted by ghost ships. Chris Rackley is one of many topsail locals who believe in the legend of the topsail pirates. He dismissed the story as an old fisherman's tale, but in the early days of its use, however, he says he changed his mind when he witnessed an anomaly on the water. Rackley recounts that one day he was 12 or 13. His father took him fishing. As they passed by the inlet, his father pointed to a radar image indicating presence of a low-hanging cloud or ship behind them. Yet the coast was completely clear. It was broad daylight and there was nothing there, but the radar sure said there was, he remembers. The radar showed the ghost ship pursuing his boat for a while. Eventually the mark faded, and one can only presume that the ghost ship returned to the spectral realm from which it came. Now, Stede Bonnet, for unknown reasons, decided to become a pirate. He was born in 1688 to a wealthy plantation owner in Bridgeport, Barbados. He was privileged, educated, and well-mannered, with a penchant for reading, an unlikely candidate for piracy for sure. After retiring from the Royal Army as a Major Bonnet, he returned to Bridgeport. Now married, he inherited his father's sugarcane plantation and built his own fortune. And in 1718, he decided to become a pirate, basically to get away from his wife. Now, in Charlestown, Edward Teach, a.k.a. Blackbeard, sailed by one of Bonnet's ships. Blackbeard boarded Bonnet's ship and quickly surmised that Bonnet was no pirate. Only his crew knew how to sail. Bonnet knew nothing about it. And when Blackbeard got on there and saw how little and dandy Bonnet was, he offered him this deal. I think Bonnet got lucky. He said that he suggested that they team up for profitability's sake and offered to put one of his own crewmen on Bonnet's ship to run things. Bonnet could still wander about the deck and read in his berth and whatever else he usually did to pretend he was a pirate. Bonnet was taken to the gallows at White Point Gardens, located in Charlestown Harbor, and hanged with 29 other pirates. The 30 corpses twisted in the coastal breeze for 4 days so that any pirate sailing in the harbor would see Charlestown had had enough. But pirates often rode up Vanderhorst's Creek to access the city from the rear. So after the pirates' bodies were cut down, here we go. After the pirates' bodies were cut down, sorry, I lost my spot. They were thrown into the creek which ran below the waterline from the beginning of the Copper River across the peninsula toward Meeting Street. Any pirate who had designs to sneak into Charlestown would surely see the mass makeshift grave in the creek. And I had a picture of Water Street, I think. So one of the things is that to this day, they say after a storm, if you look where they threw the bodies in the creek, you can still see the faces of the hung pirates that were thrown in that makeshift grave, and see their faces just under the waterline. Extremely creepy. And there you have Blackbeard, Bonnet, and Steed. And a little bit of these guys. Yay! There you go.
Did you guys read that joke?
No, tell me, I was reading. What was
Yeah.
Oh, Steven here? Oh, Steven?
Yeah.
No, not Steve. Steve. Another Steve.
Did
Well,
you
there
hear
you
about the
go.
pirate with the ship's wheel in his pants?
Uh-oh.
He said, "Arg, it's driving me nuts."
That's perfect, man.
Okay, wait. I got another one. Have y'all ever heard cold enough? Here's another origin thing. This is great.
Hey,
Cold-
Connor.
Hey, Connor, welcome in, everybody. Hi, Be Kind. Are you kidding me? I didn't say hi to you. I'm seeing people back and forth. If I missed you, hello and welcome in. Okay, cold enough to freeze the balls off a brass monkey. We've all heard it, right?
Yeah.
I can't be the only one. Well, that was all about now pirate ships and many sailing ships started with the British and the Spanish Armada. But basically, they would have a brass tray, and it was all coiled to hold the cannonballs. The holder, the tray that the cannonballs they would stack in like a pyramid. They would actually, it would be so cold that the brass would shrink just a little bit and the balls would roll off.
Oh, that's funny.
Cold enough, and they were called a monkey. So it was a brass monkey was basically the stand they would put the
Yeah.
cannonballs off. Incredible.
That's pretty cool.
I know, but how does it last all that? You figure hundreds and hundreds of years and these things last. So you guys got to see the flag, and like Dylan was saying, a lot of them put up that red flag. That's where that comes from. I see a red flag. That's danger because once they put up the red flag, we take no prisoners. We're taking your ship, which was, somebody said in here, the greatest treasure of all. And false flag also comes from that, like you said, because they would often put up a British flag. Hey, we're a British ship. We're going to get close to you, another British ship. And no, we're not. And that up went the Jolly Roger and you knew you were dead.
Yep.
And it really put a lot of fear into people. So there you go.
I mean, it
And
makes sense.
thank you to the
Said no
Midshipmen's
shit
Glee
flag.
Club.
Yeah.
Oh, Brass Monkey was a horrible drink. There you go. Well, there we had some male ghosts. Would you guys like to tell us a little bit about the not ghosts? Well, pirate ghosts, yeah. Well, there you go. You want to tell us a little bit about the female ghosts? What do you want to do your stuff now? That'd be great.
Laura, do you want to do that?
Sure. Yeah, I'll
Okay.
start. Let me pull it up
Okay.
here.
Now you had a picture, so do you want me to pull that up for you guys? And
Yeah,
there's
you can put those up.
Crispy in his little pirate hat, everybody. All right, let's see. Where is she? I gotta get the right one. I think this is her. This is them?
Yes.
They're
It's
okay.
supposed to be, yeah.
Take it away, sweetheart.
Okay, so I'm not the best at reading out loud in front to everybody, so bear with me, guys. But so when we decided we were doing pirates, I found these two women, and I thought this was like super cool, and I wanted to cover this over rather than doing like a ghost ship story because I just thought they're just like badass. So okay, so I have here. I wrote a little thing quick. It's two famous female pirates.
Uh-oh. Some,
What, Donnie?
you're frozen on my end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mary Read was born England in 1695. One article says her father died before birth. The other said that her father abandoned her and her mother. So she had a half-brother named Mark that had passed away, and Mary's paternal grandmother supported her and her mother, but only because and I don't even know how the grandmother didn't know about Mary, but she was supporting them because of the grandson. So her mother, Mary's mother, dressed her up as Mark and raised her as a boy so that her grandmother would continue to pay for them. And she continued to dress as a male even after her grandmother died when she was 13 years old. Later, she joined the military. Then she met a man and revealed her true gender to him. They fell in love and were married. A few months later, her husband died, and then she rejoined the military. And then she was on a Dutch ship that sailed to the Caribbean and was attacked by Jack, I guess you'd say Jack Rackham, or better known as Calico Jack. He captured all the sailors and made them part of his crew. It was said that Mary liked the pirate life. So then on Calico Jack's ship, Mary later on met Anne Bonny. So Anne Bonny's maiden name was Anne Cormac. She was born in Ireland. Her father, William Cormac, was a lawyer who had an affair with a woman servant who was hired by the family. And William's wife exposed her husband's betrayal. the affair that he had with this servant woman. So William, his new wife, and Anne all moved over to America, to Charleston, South Carolina, on a plantation. Then Anne's mother died when she was a teenager, and then there's rumors that Anne was like this badass, like hot-headed girl that you didn't want to mess with, which I thought she was like, hell yeah. And this part's not cool because apparently there's rumors that she murdered a servant girl, and then there was also a man that she almost killed him by stabbing him because he attempted to assault her, which you kick ass in. Yeah. And then so then she ended up marrying a pirate named James Bonney, and her father kicked her out because he did not approve of the marriage. Anne had made some pirate she made oh, I'm sorry, I skipped a line. Her father kicked what?
No, I was going to say
Sister?
it's hard when you're trying to watch a chat, watch a video, watch
Yeah.
and then find your spot and your thumb moves it or something. So
Yeah,
take
sorry.
your time. This is great. Take your time.
So she married a pirate named James Bonney. Her father kicked her out because he didn't approve. And then Anne had made some pirate friends, but James couldn't support Anne with the money he was making being a pirate. So he became a pirate informer and, you know, someone that's going to expose the pirates to catch them. And Anne decided to leave James Bonney and run away with another pirate named Jack Rackham, which is Calico Jack. And he offered to pay James Bonney for his divorce to Anne, but James Bonney refused. But they ran away, got married anyways. And he was so mad. James was so mad that he was like hell-bent and set on hunting them down. So Anne and Jack named their ship the Revenge. And it was said that Anne was pregnant and Jack left her in Cuba to deliver her baby. But it didn't say if it was his baby or if it was Jack Bonney's or James Bonney's child or not. So anyways, it was rumored that the baby was either abandoned by Anne, raised by one of Calico Jack's friends, or died at birth. Then a few months later, he came back, picked up Anne, and then by this time, Mary Read was on board, and she became friends with Anne, and it was rumored that Anne and Mary became romantic with each other, and Jack found out, and he was like all pissed and was like, the only way you're gonna stay on my ship is if we're all a couple. So they all became a couple, apparently. I don't know, can't confirm or deny. And then
So that's probably where they get that whole storyline in Black Sails, because Black Sails loosely played off of all this stuff. So that makes perfect sense. You know, Donnie's shaking his head, and
Yeah.
you know, you guys, I didn't know. That's incredible. Go ahead.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think this is a pretty freaking cool story. But I mean, it ends badly. All right, so where was I at? So James Bonney.
Menage a trois with pirates.
Yeah. And then it was said that everybody talked about this, and the women would fight right alongside the male pirates with a sword and a pistol. And James Bonney was so pissed that Anne was dragging his name through the mud, so he had such a vengeance to go after them. And he decided to go after a pirate Captain Vane and to try to kill him and collect enough money to go after the Revenge ship that Anne and Calico Jack were on. But he ended up getting killed by Captain Vane. And then eventually the Revenge ship was taken down in October of 1720 by Captain Barnett, who was a commander of the British Navy, but he was an ex-pirate. And the reason why the Revenge ship, which Anne, Mary, and Calico Jack and the whole crew got taken down, is because they were all drunk celebrating the capture of a Spanish ship from the night before. So they lost the battle against Captain Barnett, and they were sent to Port Royal, Jamaica. They were convicted of piracy and hanged. And then Mary and Anne both said that they were pregnant, and they were sent to a jail rather than being hung. And then Mary died in prison we don't know if she was pregnant or not, but she died in prison. And then Anne was later on released. I saw something that said they didn't know what happened to her after that. And then I also saw something that she gave birth to Calico Jack's baby. And then she also remarried and had 8 children. And she passed away in 1782. So she was pretty old when she died, if that is the case.
I like that version. Because you're always pulling for the. It had to be a hard life.
Yeah.
I mean, not condoning what they did, but quite honestly, if I'm being honest, I don't know what I would have done in that situation. I mean, if you think about it, women at the time, they didn't have a lot of choices, and you always hear that in like things like Deadwood or Tombstone or any of these old towns. And I think that a lot of these ports and islands and the ships, they were basically their own floating islands, really. I mean, everybody knew, and back and forth and hung together and traded together and killed each other and fought together and tried to be the baddest pirates. I get all that, but the women, you always think you only have one choice: either be a prostitute or a washerwoman or a cook or a maid to watch other people's kids. And for some of these women like that, I always look at it this way. You're probably guys too young to remember Gunsmoke, but with Marshall Dillon and all that stuff, I always liked Miss Kitty. I thought she had the right idea. She ran the bar and she ran it tight. She kept it clean. Of course, in Gunsmoke there were no hookers, so we don't know about Miss Kitty and what she was really doing. But I think I would have either been a pirate, or I would have run a bar, or I would have been selling rum or been a trader. I mean, I wouldn't want it to have been the other things. I would have gone the route that they did. I mean, if I was anything like I am now, you know what I mean? In a situation like that, trying to make money, you got to survive, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Actually, Anne reminded me of you, because I was like, that'd totally be like something Cisco would do. Just be like, F this, I'm gonna, because Mary pretended, she still got on the ship and she pretended to be a male for quite a while. And then, I don't know, I read, every story you read is conflicting, and it's like, it was so long ago, so who actually knows the truth? But apparently it was like Anne discovered that she was a female and they still fell in love, and the 3 of them and all that stuff. And then, but and the other thing that I thought was kind of like cool, like badass, apparently they would like rip open, like they were like kicking other pirates' ass and stuff, and they'd rip open their shirts and expose that they're women, and the other men would be like horrified, and they'd like died by these badass women. And I'm like, that's so cool.
That's so cool. I mean, rub it in their faces.
That's a great
tactic.
totally
exactly.
That's a great tactic. It's funny because Civil War, same thing. I don't know if you guys know this, but there were so many women that were found once they were taken to the hospital tents, or if they had a chance, they would have buried the dead, that kind of thing. It was I think it was close to 3,000 women that were found out to have fought alongside of their husbands, their brothers, going into fight because they felt like it was the right thing to do. And that's a hard thing to cover, keep your identity down. They also did it in the West. They did it
all throughout history.
Absolutely. Incredible. Great story. Great story.
Yeah.
I hope the last one is true. Donnie, do you feel like doing yours now, or you want to wait? It's up to you. Because we have people in the chat talking about it, and again, I was blindsided by this. I had no idea. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, whenever, if you want to show something else first.
No, go ahead. We're talking about women pirates. Let's bring her up. Now, they're both the same lady? I want to be sure that both the pictures you sent me.
Yeah.
Is that her?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's, I believe that is an illustration of her.
Okay.
And then the next one is supposed to be a photo, but I'm not really sure if that photo is.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think she looks badass, so look at that.
Yeah, that's supposed to be a photo of her like years after she retired.
Okay. She's beautiful.
She is. I was just taken aback. I just absolutely loved it. I almost wanted to hang it up, put it with my other.
And I noticed a few people in the chat already started talking about
it.
Her.
Yeah, they did.
I had no idea.
Her name was
new to me.
So her name, she has a couple names actually. Cheng Shi is one of them, and then some people mentioned that her other name is Cheng Yi Sao. Basically, they're not her actual name. Cheng Shi actually means Cheng's widow, and Cheng
Oh,
Yisao means the wife of Cheng. Cheng was her husband, who was like, well, actually, before I even go into her biography, let me just explain. If you want to know who the most singular, most powerful pirate who ever lived in the history of humanity ever was, it was her, like by far. I mean, she ran piracy in Asia, all of it. Like she ran all of it. Um, she had the figures are like she had something like the high figures I heard were 1,800 ships and in control of 80,000 men.
whoa,
Blackbeard, in comparison, had 4 ships in control of 300 men.
whoa.
That's crazy.
She took
Go
on
ahead, girl. You go, girl.
she took like I don't even know if that counts as piracy anymore because at that point she has her own navy.
Right.
Yeah.
And she took on like the Portuguese navy and won. She completely dominated the Chinese Imperial Navy. She was undefeated in battle. Like in any sea battle, undefeated record. She took on the Portuguese Navy, she took on the Imperial Chinese, and these navies are no jokes. She took on like the British Navy, the East Indian Trade Company. She even took on some American warships, undefeated. And the way she won was overwhelming force. She had like
That's the way to do
1,800
it, baby.
ships. Like you got 1,000 ships that just show up in like one big group. What are you gonna do about that? And she
Holy
ran it
mackerel.
all. She ran the whole thing. So she was the most powerful singular, not just woman pirate, just pirate, period.
Wow.
And she started off, nobody knows her real name because she started off real, like just a peasant girl who became a prostitute.
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting. The type of prostitution she was involved in, they had floating brothels. So they were prostitute ships that would sail from boat to boat. And then instead of the sailors having to go on land to go to the brothels, these
Hmm.
ships would just pull up. And so
Wow.
she was one of those working girls. And one of the her husband, the one pirate captain fell in love with her, and he was the guy that just so happened to be unifying all the different pirate gangs into one giant gang. And he fell in love with
Wow.
her at the brothel, and he married her. And then the story gets really bizarre. Okay, so so she's living with the pirate king as his new wife that he fell in love with at the brothel, right? The
Hmm.
pirate king takes this 15-year-old farmer's son and he basically takes him on as his gay lover, I guess, because he was bisexual. But the thing is, she was sleeping with that 15-year-old as well. So they were both all sleeping with each other. And her husband actually adopts the guy as his son. And the reason why he did that was because it had something to do with the way back then, gay couples, the way they would uh, make sure one would get their inheritance if when any of
Hmm.
them died, they would actually adopt each other. So it's kind of like a legal
Yep.
loophole. So her husband dies. She takes over the whole thing with that 15-year-old guy that they were both sleeping with, who she now marries. So she basically marries her stepson, which is weird. And they basically run the entire, just all the oceans around China. They just ran it. They ran it completely. They dominated the entire salt trade in the world. Portuguese Navy tried to intervene, they couldn't. Um, and at the end, she basically retired. You know, she never had any tragic endings. She retired. The Chinese government gave her amnesty. She moved on to an island, started her own casino, died old in her sleep and filthy rich. She just won the game. She just won the piracy game. Like she wins.
Total winner.
Yeah.
She's got my vote. What do you think, Dylan?
Oh, definitely. Now, is she in Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yeah, that old Asian lady in Pirates of the
Uh-huh.
Caribbean is based off her.
So,
Okay, I'm
yep.
trying to remember her character. She
It's
was
like,
she.
is it the
She was that old
third
Chinese
one?
lady. Yeah, she was like the queen of all the Asian pirates. Like she just single.
It was like
I
one of the
mean,
last movies, wasn't it?
yeah.
Okay.
With still the
Wait a minute.
original crew.
Are you guys talking about Black Sails, or are you talking about Pirates of the Caribbean?
No,
Pirates of the
but-
Caribbean.
Okay, I didn't see the last one. That's why I don't
See,
remember.
she would
Okay.
not have been in Black Sails because her time of dominance was like 100 years after all that.
Oh,
So,
okay.
okay,
That makes
so
sense.
the year after she retired, oh no, she retired a year after Abraham Lincoln was born.
yeah, it was
For
based off
Okay.
the image. She had to be. I figured she was around,
Yeah, so she was more
photography.
recent. And you know why she retired was that she noticed that some of the gangs were fighting with each other, and she's like, "Oh man, if I try to take on all the navies, I'm going to lose. So I'll just get an amnesty. I'll negotiate a deal." And she really chose a good time to quit while she was ahead, because right around then, all this like Navy military technology made a big jump forward. So she picked a good time to leave, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
At World's
Yeah.
End. That's the movie.
And she had like this really weird code of conduct for everyone in the fleet. Basically, well, first of all, Chinese piracy was a little different because it had a mix of men and women. Because there would be a lot of pirates, but then they would also bring their wives with them. And whenever they would raid and take captives, whenever they brought on female captives, the rule was you cannot touch any of the women. The male sailors, they can't try to, R-word them, because if they did, they get their heads chopped off immediately.
Wow.
If any of them slept with any female captives consensually, then both the man and the woman get their heads cut off.
Wow.
If however one of the pirates were to like fall in love and ask the permission to get married, she would grant them permission to get married. But if the guy ever was unfaithful to her or cheated on her,
Let me
his head
guess.
would get
Wait a
cut
minute.
off.
He get his
Yeah.
head cut off.
Yeah. Like she had like these really weird rules like that. And
Wow.
It keeps you honest, I guess.
Well, you got to keep control somehow. I mean, if you throw an elbow in the first quarter on national TV, you don't have to do it again. You know what I'm
now
saying?
the interesting bit is I don't think,
Reputation.
going through the history, I don't think she's ever herself been on a raid. She was more like really good with money and organization and management. She ran everything. Like
She was
it
the
a
crime boss,
corporation.
yeah.
Yeah, it was like
Incredible.
she was basically the Pablo Escobar of the ocean.
Uh-huh. That's so cool.
I'm absolutely blown away because I had no idea. And that's why we do these things. Because you send everybody out in different directions. It's just like I'm saying, just grab whatever you want. We'll bring it in. Because like I said, all these wonderful people came through at the last minute for all of you wonderful listeners and gatekeepers. Because we wanted to do something fun. And I mean, I'm learning like amazing things here. I had no idea. Now I want to go find out more about her. And I mean, not that I condone the whole head cutting off thing. But if you're going to do it, you gotta have some kind of brute strength, because that's
If you gotta
what works.
if you gotta make a top 10 list of the most badass women in all of history, I mean, she's gotta be up there on that list. She's gotta be.
I'm like right there with you, and I'm glad that you brought her forward, because again, that's why we do this. Some people are so lost in time, and absolutely, Chris Jarvis, the Flying Dutchman, he just dropped a link is here for that. That's one thing that I didn't have time to write down, but that is an amazing story of a ghost ship with the red sails and the whole thing. So there's definitely so much more. We're just scratching the surface here, but I'm watching the time, and I know Dylan's got to leave. And if you don't, that was fantastic, Donnie and Laura. Thank you so much, because I learned so much there, and I'm sure it just adds so much flavor, the stuff that you guys brought up here. There is a little story, like Steve and I tell all the time. When we started out with like Ripley's Believe It or Not, and just imagining the mysteries. And I think everybody here, as far as research now, Dylan, I know it's like 9:20. Do you think you got 10 more minutes?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I'd love for you to see this 10-minute part. It's like 9 minutes.
Yep.
It's In Search Of, and it's Ghost Ship. Now, I wanted to explain something about Ghost Ship. You're going to hear a lot about the ghost ships. Hi, Carol. Welcome in. And a ghost ship is also a term used for any ship that is just wandering the ocean, left abandoned. And that happens with a lot of different vehicles. Of course, they're, the crew abandons it because they were using, transporting drugs mostly, or some other illegal thing, and they abandon it. Or some are a mystery, and they don't know why the crew left. But one of the most famous ones is the Mary Celeste. And when I read about this, I read about it in the Ripley's Believe It or Not. And I'm imagining, was it aliens? Was it
Mutiny.
Yeah, mutiny. Did they get, taken by pirates? What happened? And when I saw this in search of, and I hope they let me play it. Like I said, I ran it through all the things. We might be okay, but nobody tells it better than Leonard Nimoy, and they've acted it out. Now, what I'd like you guys to do, we are going to try to see if we can maybe not solve a mystery, but kind of narrow it down a little bit. And I'm going to play 9 minutes of it, and we're going to go through the round table and see what you guys think. Put all minds on it, because this is one that has just stumped me for at least 50 years. So let's see if we can find out something. You in, Dylan?
Oh yeah.
All right, excellent. And we'll hit you first in case you got to duck out, and I so appreciate you being here tonight. So let's see if I can hit the magic right one here. And if anybody needs to go pee, get something to drink, whatever, we got like 9 minutes, so don't worry about it. Here we go. In search of ghost ships. Can you hear that, Laura? It's coming through good?
The 5th of December, 1872.
Ship on the starboard bow!
The captain of the brigantine Dei Gratia sights a ship in the Atlantic, 800 miles off the Portuguese coast. It appears to be unmanned and steering wild.
Ahoy there! Captain Briggs! Ahoy! Anyone aboard?
The only reply is an eerie creaking. No one appears on deck. The ship is completely forsaken. What happened to the crew of the Mary Celeste is one of the enduring mysteries of the sea.
We represent the government of the United States of America. We have permission from your government to board your vessel.
Today, Coast Guardsmen are accustomed to finding abandoned vessels.
Stand by and prepare to be boarded.
The first boarding is tense and dangerous.
Nosotros tenemos el permiso de su gobierno a abordar su barco.
They should have had their eye patches on, Dylan.
Yeah, definitely.
Modern abandoned ships usually mean only one thing. They're being used for illegal drug traffic. In the days of the great sailing vessels, however, derelict ships were not so easily explained, and no abandoned vessel has remained as mysterious as the Mary Celeste. Theories abound as to why the Mary Celeste was abandoned. It might have been the result of a prearranged salvage fraud, pirates, mutiny, a burst of deadly marine gas, or even a homicidal maniac, killing the rest of the crew one by one, dumping their bodies, and then committing suicide. To try to unravel the web of intrigue surrounding the Mary Celeste, we must examine a reenactment of that fateful voyage in the winter of 1872. On November 2nd, in the New York harbor, the Mary Celeste completed loading her cargo, 1,700 barrels of alcohol. During the loading, 2 of the kegs slipped, damaging the longboat so severely it was put ashore as useless. A replacement could not be found, but the Mary Celeste still carried her yawl on deck. If absolutely necessary, it could accommodate the entire ship's company. The master, Captain Benjamin Spooner Briggs, brought his wife Sarah and 2-year-old daughter Sophia on board for the voyage.
Can you just
In his
imagine?
final letter to his mother, he wrote,
It seems real homelike since Sarah and Sophia got here, and we enjoy our little quarters. Sophia has got over the bad cold she had when she came, and has a first-class appetite for hash and bread and butter. I think the voyage will do her lots of good. Our vessel is in beautiful trim, and I hope we shall have a fine passage.
To this, Sarah added,
Benjamin thinks we've got a pretty peaceable crew this time, all round, if they continue as they have begun.
the night before the Mary Celeste sailed, Captain Briggs dined with Captain David Reed Morehouse of the Dei Gratia.
Which makes a change in this day and age, really.
The two ships were moored side by side at the dock.
Be very slipshod about it all.
In light of subsequent events, this was a strange coincidence. The two men knew each other well. What did Captain Morehouse think of Briggs?
Briggs was a teetotaler and a God-fearing man. He could be stern when occasion required it, and was not a man to be intimidated or imposed upon. But he was just and considerate towards the men serving under him, just as he was gentle and affectionate in his family relations.
1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4.
On November 5th, 1872, the Mary Celeste set sail. One month later, she was sighted by the Dei Gratia. The Mary Celeste was drifting, unmanned, 800 miles off the Portuguese coast. She would be sailed by a skeleton crew from the Dei Gratia to Gibraltar, where the official inquiry was held. At the British Admiralty Court, the proceedings opened with Captain Morehouse's description of his first sighting of the Mary Celeste.
I reckon the way the yards were square, she was running before the wind when she was abandoned. It's possible the storm that we met at 4 o'clock that morning might have sent her round had she also met it. First time I saw her, 2 o'clock afternoon, her head was westward. The jib was trimmed on the port side, although she was on a starboard tack. She was yawing, coming up to the wind then, falling off. I judged something was amiss. I thought I saw a flag of distress at her yard, but subsequently it turned out to be a flapping sail. By 3 o'clock, we were about 350 yards off. I hailed her, but got no reply, and I couldn't see anyone on deck. So I sent Mr. Devereux, my second mate, over to board her, and in due course he signaled me to come over myself. When I got on board, Mr. Devereux had already sounded the pumps, which showed she made little or no water.
During the next hour, Captain Morehouse would carefully inspect every inch of the ship.
The ship was perfectly sound. Her hull, masts, and yards were in good condition. Her cargo, which was barrels of alcohol, was properly stowed and hadn't shifted, but the forehatch had been lifted off.
This was only one of the many enigmas Morehouse would encounter.
I came to the conclusion that she'd been left in a panic. The mainsail was lying loose, as if it had been run down. The lazarette hatch was also off, but there were plenty of provisions and water in there.
Anybody below?
The glass on the compass was smashed.
Compass glass is smashed.
Together, we searched the ship from stem to stern. At first, we were worried that she was a fever ship and the crew had died of cholera, but there wasn't a soul on board, nor were there any visible signs of there having been any trouble. In the forecastle, oilskins, boots, and pipes were scattered about as if abandoned in great haste, and among the dunnage were articles of value you might have supposed their owners would have taken if abandoning ship. In the galley, everything was in good order, as it would be between meals. There was no wine, beer, or spirits on board. A child's clothing and toys were strewn about. And on the table was a sewing machine with a baby's pinafore on it and a number of small items lying on the table alongside. There were books and charts, but the chronometers and the ship's log were missing. The slate log had an unfinished letter beginning Fanny, my dear wife, Francis N.R., which I took to be the start of a message scribbled by the mate. The ship's boat was missing. You could see where the boat had been lashed across the main hatch, but that was not the right place for her. There were no signs of any tackle to launch her, but we usually launched our boat from the rail with only a tow rope to secure her. I saw no remains of painter or boat's rope fastened to the rail.
Captain Morehouse's observations were detailed, but they raised more questions than they answered.
Okay, I'm going to hold it there. Now that's halfway point. So you heard everything he came through, all his evidence and what he saw as a captain. What are you thinking? Where are you at right now, Dylan, with this? What do you think happened?
Well, what they say, the boat was gone, right? But at the beginning, they mentioned that it was already destroyed, and they couldn't get a new one on the ship, right? I'm assuming they had more than one emergency boat. I don't know. I don't know. From what I've read before, but I want to only base it off what I just saw. It sounds like they left for some reason.
In haste, like the glass on what is it? Now it's lost my, the glass was broken, on the compass or whatever, the direction, it's weird, and it's almost like they grabbed stuff fast, and, things were thrown around, grabbed in haste, like very well would be like, say, if somebody came on board or you thought you had to get off fast.
Like they're forced off or something like that.
Right. If there was pirates or something like that, or it's something that was going to hurt them, I think that they would have found some dead bodies, though, and I don't think they would have gave them time to grab the stuff that they need. I don't know.
There wasn't any signs of violence either. And
so there were no bloodstains or anything?
As far as I know, no.
No. And the captain of the De Gratia's observing it from what he sees. He doesn't know the backstory that boat was missing either. I know there's theories about the fumes with the alcohol below the ship, and a lot of people theorize that they were, I don't know, not in the right set of mind, and think that they may have jumped and stuff like that, like in a panic, and jumped to get off the ship because they're, I don't know, intoxicated or whatever, not in the right set of mind.
Yeah. And that could happen. I mean, we hear lots of stories about the different stuff too, as far as, something I wanted to mention about, like, being in the doldrums. We've all heard that. And I learned that actually from Black Sails, when they were stuck and they were in the doldrums, and you go nuts, and, of course, people drinking salt water are not having the right nutrition, but that's everybody at the same time, because like I said, when I was little, I was like 10, I think, when I read this story first, and at Ripley's Believe It or Not. And it's just, so many, it was lumped in with a bunch of other ships where people were like just gone, like in mid-meal, the plates still had food on them and stuff like that. It's like, where did they go? Why did they leave? Where's everybody's gone? So it's nuts like that. It's a mystery.
It almost makes me think that they were forced overboard by someone. And I don't know if it's going to talk about it in this video, but they theorize about the De Gratia and their involvement. What wasn't as the ship De Gratia.
Oh yeah, okay.
And that their story wasn't as innocent as it's recorded. Because I know they got a hefty sum of money for returning the ship. Because they're going to Italy, right? They're hauling the load to Italy, and they ended up taking it into port over there. And I think they made off with a hefty sum of money out of it. So people theorize that they were involved and they got rid of the crew. I don't know what the backstory or the motive would have been, though, because this is like a random ship. Like, there has to be more of a connection between the two to have them go after this.
Well, Glenn thinks it was Bigfoot. We're getting a couple ideas from the chat.
I like that.
Joshua could be. And you know, I've heard Bigfoot can swim. I don't know if he can sail, but if he can swim, he can. You know, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. You get my point. So, I don't know what that meant, but it's somewhere. If you give me a chance, I'll make it make sense, right?
I was trying to figure that out. I'm like, what is she talking about?
You've never seen dodgeball? If you can dodge a wrench,
Long time ago.
It's just something I remember from it. I used to use it to train my kids. No children were harmed. No children were harmed. They're in the chat. They're fine. You know, but let me tell you something. They can dodge a wrench and a ball anytime. So they're welcome. Possible sheep, what? Sheep squatch, Blue says. That's also possible. Dodgeball, love it. Low-key think it was a pirate and oh, he's saying really? Okay. Somebody thinks they were a pirate in a past life. Uncommon and wish I could go back. You know, dude, I don't blame you. Take me with you. All right. Sean's saying be the ball. Absolutely. That's so zen of you, Sean. There was somebody else here that was also saying something about the fumes. Now, the reason I stopped it there is because it seemed to me, I had not seen this, and if I did see it, it was like in the 70s, so I kind of forgot some of it, but this is the first guy that went on, and then they sent somebody else, and then after that I'll let you see what he said and you can come to your own conclusions, but I do think they mentioned something about the fumes here. Laura, you think that they were just forced off the ship by somebody?
I don't know. And what Dylan was talking about, like, I'm wondering if there was some kind of insurance policy or something like that, like getting them off the ship and then kind of cashing the ship in, but also
kind of like the Titanic.
Yeah, and another island called Jekyll.
I have a theory.
That's another
what about this theory? What if it was just a rogue wave?
Yeah, but then the whole
It wasn't a
ship
very
would be
big-
messed up.
No, you can still have the ship survive a rogue wave. If all the people are out on deck, it's not a very big boat. How many
Did
people
they
on
say
on
there
the
was
crew?
any water in the hull?
But
you know, were there things wet? The baby clothes and stuff would have, things would have been wet. Do you think, or maybe they dried and the salty? I don't know.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
they
wasn't
want to
the
I don't
vent
know how
neat.
to. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, we've got AJK talking, who's our new mod. Welcome in, a new gatekeeper mod tonight, AJK. Also know that if you get a wrench disappear, you know, if a wrench dodges you, and you had one, and then you come back and you don't, I didn't take it away from you. YouTube does a purge every once in a while, and they take the first 3. And nobody tells me anything. I don't know why they do this. You know, we're so happy to be here, YouTube. Honestly, don't get me wrong, but if you lose your wrench, tell me and we'll get your wrench back. Okay, so there's that. But fumes coming up again. What does Politis say? I don't know.
Dylan and I are laughing at the same comment. I
I
already
don't
knew
know.
it.
I think he
Yep.
would say that they probably all don't fit the group. They were probably not. They don't fit into the cluster. Maybe
Yeah.
that. I'm not sure. You know. Oh, thank you, Uncommon. All right. Oh, wait a minute. Anne's got an idea. Wait a minute. I can't see. The captain and crew that found the abandoned ship, or they thought the ship was going to explode because of the fumes. That's another thing. Dylan
That's
brought it
fair.
up.
Yeah.
It is fair. It's very possible. We got to get off fast. That would explain it. But then where did they go? So I don't know. But let's go ahead and finish it. Dylan, if you have to back out, please tell everybody about Creepy Unsolved and what you got going on, just in case.
Oh,
you need
I'm
to
gonna
dip.
see it out, but yeah.
Okay, I just want to be sure you get time.
I was
ahead.
thinking to do
Oh,
the exact same thing.
yeah.
by
But
the
you're
way.
going to stay with us? Okay.
Yeah, I
And,
plan on staying. Yep.
and Blue here is saying, you know what I think. I'm not saying it was aliens,
Yeah,
but, you know, it.
I had thought
David
that
says
too. So
David
did
says that.
Ann Palmer.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same
we
thing.
We got to be careful because David gets his panties in a wad fast. So, YouTube.
Oh!
Did I say that out loud? Oh my God, I did, didn't I? But he does, and you know, I give him all the props. I mean, he's earned it. He's been, you know, he's done all. But okay, I'm just. YouTube giveth. Yeah, YouTube. No, I got away from the
Behave.
SS cupcakes today. I'm not going into deep dark. Yeah, no, we don't want to go there. YouTube giveth and YouTube taketh away. Bless us in the name of the YouTube. Amen. YouTube, we love you. Okay, here we go. The rest. Let's get Leonard in here before we all lose our channels. It could happen. It could damn happen. Here we go. Jeez.
The man responsible for the official
Sorry,
inquiry
David.
was Mr. Solly Flood, Her Majesty's Advocate General, Proctor for the Queen in her Office of Admiralty, and a legal bloodhound. A new age of belief in science, invention, and technology was dawning. The ability to seek and find cold, hard evidence in order to solve any mystery was reaching a golden era. Was there any evidence to indicate foul play? The only facts available so far, a ship in good order, yet abandoned in a hurry. The investigation about to take place in Gibraltar would propel the Mary Celeste to her place as the most infamous abandoned ship in the history of the sea.
I'm so sorry to pull the podcast over, but for me and Dylan, I have to pull this up from our new mod, AJK. This is my wrench, this is my gun, this is for modding, and this is for fun. Back to our show. I love it so much. It's going in the Gatekeepers Hall of Fame. Look at you, AJK. I'm sorry I had to. Beautiful.
I wish I thought of that.
Me too. I'm so mad.
Advocate General Solly Flood boarded the Mary Celeste to examine it in minute detail.
There was no appearance of fire or explosion or any other assignable cause of abandonment. She was well provisioned and it seems had encountered no seriously heavy weather. She was thoroughly sound, staunch, and strong, and in every way seaworthy and well found. But both bows had been recently cut by a sharp instrument. On the starboard topgallant rail, there were marks apparently of blood and a mark of a blow, apparently by a sharp axe. A sword appeared to me to exhibit traces of blood and to have been wiped before being returned to its scabbard. In the forehatch, a barrel, ostensibly of alcohol, appeared to have been tampered with. My object is to move the Board of Trade to take such action as they may think fit, to discover, if possible, the fate of the master, whose name was Briggs, his wife and child, and the crew of the derelict. My own theory, or guess, is that the crew got at the alcohol and in the fury of drunkenness murdered the master and his wife and child and the chief mate, that they then damaged the bows of the vessel so as to give it the appearance of having struck on some rocks or suffered some collision, with a view to inducing the master of any vessel which might pick them up if they saw her at some distance, not to think her worth attempting to save. And that they did, sometime between the 25th of November and the 5th of December, escape on board some vessel bound for some South or North American port or the West Indies.
Was this the real story? Mutiny and murder? The Advocate General was convinced he was on the trail of a sensational crime. Soon, the story spread to the newspapers of the world and began to read like a modern detective yarn. As the inquiry proceeded, however, it became increasingly evident that the Advocate General had let his imagination run wild. Flood was later found to be wrong on almost every statement he made. The forensic tests proved that the sinister, bloody sword was really an old bayonet used to mix paints, and the blood on the rail was only rust. The final results of the inquiry cleared Captain Morehouse and the Dei Gratia crew of piracy, and in fact, the Dei Gratia was awarded a portion of the salvage value. There, the story might have ended, but for an amazing discovery 30 years later. A young apprentice sailor was sent ashore to collect some sand at St. Paul's Rocks, a tiny island in the middle of the South Atlantic. He found a skeleton propped in the shade of a rock. And beside it, a bottle stuffed with a soiled and faded letter. A letter which told an amazing tale.
My ship struck these rocks at dawn 3 days ago. She sank immediately. Only I, of all her crew, reached the shore alive. I am dying of thirst. It has been a voyage of disaster. 3 deaths in 2 days. Then came the poison on the 7th day out. Ship helpless, and so for 3 days we lay. Knew we must ask assistance to take us to Gibraltar for crew. Early morning sighted small brig becalmed. Mate said, "Take her crew." Went aboard. Captain asked why we came. His wife and child were with him. We left no one on board. The brig was called Mary Celeste.
Years later, this tragic letter was brought to public attention in the London Daily Express. Was this at last the real clue to the mystery of the Mary Celeste? If so, why did the young sailor wait 9 years to publish the letter? Many people doubt its authenticity. It is just one of the hundreds of theories proposed during the last century. There is a universal sailor's superstition about ships born unlucky. And the Mary Celeste lived up to that superstition. From all the evidence collected, In Search Of proposes a logical explanation. The Mary Celeste had been at sea for 8 days. The hatches had remained closed because at first the weather was stormy. Gradually, though, the cold November chill of New York gave way to the milder latitudes of the Azores. The cargo of alcohol was stored in barrels made of red oak, an extremely porous wood. At least 8 of the barrels leaked badly during the voyage. Battened down under the hatches, the fumes mingled with the foul air of the hold. Was a potentially explosive mixture of gas forming? Off the Azores, the wind dropped to a gentle breeze. Taking advantage of the calm weather, Briggs probably ordered the ventilation of the hold, which may have set off a fateful chain of events. An upward rush of fumes, perhaps even an explosion. Then, steam, looking like smoke, poured out of the hatch.
Abandon ship!
Some of the men began to take in sail. Convinced that the ship was about to blow up, Briggs ordered the boat lowered. A sailor broke out a coil of rope as a tow line from the lazarette. Someone grabbed some tins of preserved meat. Briggs snatched up his chronometer and any of the ship's papers he could quickly lay his hands on. Feeling certain that time was of the essence, he urgently herded his family and crew to the yawl. According to meteorological reports, a sudden squall blew up that day. Under the impact of a violent gust, the vessel may have lunged forward with a suddenness and force which broke the improvised tow line. They may have tried to row after the Mary Celeste, or they may have turned toward the island of Santa Maria, a jagged, inhospitable coastline where a small boat and her occupants would easily be smashed to pieces in the surf. The wind shifted, however, so it seems more probable that the small boat was blown southeast, away from the island and out into the vast reaches of the Atlantic, to disappear forever. When the Mary Celeste was found on December 5th, the last entry on her log slate was for the morning of November 25th, 11 days earlier. This entry put the Mary Celeste 6 miles north of the island of Santa Maria in the Azores. With the set of her sails, and with no one at her helm, her natural course would be roughly at right angles to the wind. This presumably was how, over the 10 days, she covered the 750 miles between the last entry in the log and the position where she was first sighted by the Dei Gratia. What has been reenacted seems to be the most likely explanation. But whatever the cause of the panic, Captain Morehouse was certain of one thing.
Captain Briggs bore the highest character for seamanship and correctness, and would not, I think, desert his ship except to save his life.
The Mary Celeste became a marked ship, sailors being superstitious to own her, sail her, or have anything to do with her. She was sold and resold rapidly at well below her commercial value. 13 years after the events we have described, she was deliberately wrecked by her owners in a failed insurance fraud scheme. On Rochelle's Reef off Haiti, she quickly broke up. And today, there is no more trace of her than there is of Captain Briggs and his crew of that fateful voyage of 1872.
Well, there you go, guys. We're getting a lot of stuff in the chat here, and Aunt Edna's, the last thing I saw here was, I can't see them panicking like that. There you go, Dylan. You brought that up about the fumes. What are you thinking?
Yeah, it's so weird.
I know.
I don't see, like someone said it in here before about experienced sailors getting frightened over something, that could have been as simple as that. It's weird. I still think someone forced them off the ship.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. You know, something made them leave fast. Didn't come on the ship and kill them because the bodies would have still been there. There would have been some kind of sign. I showed that whole part of everybody in court. I love the whole idea of it's possible that the first ship that found them really was. I mean, there even is that with the Carpathia that found Titanic and the ones that went by. I mean, there's all this mystery, but that's why we love it so much. There's so much mystery, and there's that fear of not knowing. You know, what are you thinking, Laura?
So, in the beginning, we heard that not really telescope, but I mean, what would you call it, that they looked through to see that it was
telescope.
broken? It made me think of, like, they were looking through it, and then they saw somebody coming for them, and they panicked, threw it down, and that's why it was broken, and then they, like, hauled ass and got off the ship. But I'm thinking, like, no, they're not going to get away faster in a smaller boat, so it makes sense that maybe they were forced off, like Dylan said.
That's a
But
good
then,
point,
like,
too.
where the hell did they go? Why didn't anybody ever find any
Probably.
wreckage of that?
Probably
yeah.
got thrown into the ocean. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Busted up. I mean, to not have anything, but then again, that's possible. It's possible.
Yeah.
Donnie, where are you sitting?
So I'm a bit confused. So the guy did find bloodstains and like evidence of violence?
He did not.
No, it was paint and rust.
Paint
paint and rust?
So what
Oh.
kind of an inspector? Somebody said it in here. A
Yeah.
guy was no Sherlock Holmes if you can't tell the difference between blood and rust. I mean, in a heartbeat, from across the room, you can tell that. I mean, but then again, I'm weird. I can, tell the direction of blood spatter and show. I'm telling you, my boys had it hard. I'm like, no, that's not what happened, because I'm looking here, here. CSI and before. But you have to when you've got kids. You're trying to determine what's going on, and I can't imagine. Go ahead.
What about that message in the bottle? It was saying that they ran into pirates and the pirates forced them off. Is
I
that
think
what the
so.
message
I
of the
think that
Bible
was
said?
it. Yeah, and then they were just they were sitting on the island, and he actually said it was the Mary Celeste, and but the whole thing was, why did whoever turned in the letter to the paper, why'd they wait 9 years? So there's
Yeah,
so many
it's
unanswered questions.
sounds
Why?
fabricated.
I
Yeah.
don't understand why they would have to like create all this fake evidence to cover their tracks when they had complete control of the boat and they could have just taken the boat and used it for their
Yeah.
own.
There's so many unanswered things, and that's why I brought it up, because when we look at stuff and somebody says, like, if we're what we call them today is headline readers, that people like read the headline and don't really get into the depth or down into the fourth paragraph, usually where it is, because the headline is the grabber or the clickbait, we call it too now.
Yeah.
And then you've got like a little bit of the body of it to draw you in, and then you've got you read down toward the bottom, it has absolutely nothing to do with what the headline. I think in this time what they were doing too is, now I'm the star, I get to sit up here, everybody's looking at me, people are writing down what I'm saying. So like that boisterous captain that went on first, he probably told it true, but omitted anything that made his crew or him look like they didn't do it right. So you got to
Yeah.
balance that. He's not going to go in there and say, there was a big treasure chest of gold, we took that. It's just, he's going to omit things. The second guy just looked like a blowhard, where he's just going in making stuff up, trying to make himself look, important. So all of this is just mangled by history and back and forth. But, a little kid reading this at 10, I was just imagining people being sucked off a ship into, a spaceship.
Outer space, yeah.
Outer space.
Yeah.
Or they went through the Bermuda Triangle, because that's another one. And one night we'll do Bermuda Triangle, because all our favorite stories from that, that would be great. But
Yeah, there's a
this
lot.
was mixed in with that. It actually goes in multiple things, but it also comes up with the whole ghost ship, but just a different feel to it. It's not actually a ship that appears and disappears. That's the Flying Dutchman does that, and there's other ones that do too. Some of them are that mirrored effect, like a mirage almost, and then the other ships are just ships that float around, and that was the Marie Celeste with no crew aboard. We'll never know. But interesting. Nobody does it like In Search Of. To answer somebody's question here, yes, a lot of the In Search Of episodes are on YouTube for free. Just do In Search Of. There's In Search of Ghosts, UFOs, all kinds of things. And like I said, I'm trying to bring them to you, because if we saw them as kids, we forgot them. And if we didn't get to see them, you get to see them for the first time. So there you go. Dylan, if you have to go, no problem. I've got one more
Yeah, I
little
think I'm gonna
quick story.
tap out.
You go, baby. Thank you so much. I can't thank you enough for being here. And again, tell us where to find you and what you got coming up.
Yeah, first off, thanks for having me.
Oh, I love it.
I have my YouTube channel, like most of the people in the chat know. I premiere new videos every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
They're so
Me,
good.
me and Laura do a podcast together. We're trying to batch episodes right now, but we plan to release 2 a month, be like a bi-weekly podcast where we'll bring on different guests and talk about their field of expertise or like a topic episode. And then I keep all of my stuff on my website, creepyunsolved.com. So you can go there and you can listen to podcast episodes. You can watch YouTube videos. And we have a blog, so you can read through that too. So that's like my one-stop shop for all that.
And it's so good. Please go in there and subscribe and support all our wonderful, talented people in the chat and here on our roundtable tonight, because it's such hard work editing, looking, researching. We love doing it. What we really love is when you watch it and you get something from it, and just give it a thumbs up or say, hey, I learned something, or that was really great, the editing and the research and everything else. That's really all we ever want, is to have to touch somebody and be a little part of your day. So go in there and subscribe and give thumbs up to everybody. Thanks so much for being here last minute, Dylan. You're gonna
no
miss
problem.
you're gonna miss the lady who married the 300-year-old pirate.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to fast forward to tomorrow and get
tomorrow
back
you
to
have
it.
to pick it up because there's like phantom sex and stuff, man. I mean,
Oh,
just
all the
like what a
good
time
stuff.
to go. What a time to go. But thanks so much for
It's
being
like the after
here.
midnight show.
Yeah. We're fixing to get down and dirty. We're just going to do all the clean stuff while Dylan's here. When he goes, we'll get into the dirty stuff. Thanks so much,
All
man.
right.
Really,
See you
so much.
guys.
Thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
in. Good night,
Bye,
honey.
Dylan.
Bye.
Okay, now we can really talk about the pirates.
Is this going to be a sexy paranormal story?
Well, I'm telling you right now. So, I don't know how to. I just don't know. This is just. I don't know how I feel about this. So, I was watching it, and the first time I heard about it, I went, "What?" And then I watched it, and I listened to her, and she's, I kind of dig her. Yeah, it's kind of like when we were with the pirates guys. We got in a lot of ways we really got into understanding a little bit of what they were about, and especially the one. Can you say her name again, Donnie? The pirate. You said, what does she go by mostly?
Tang Shi.
Thank you. And I didn't know anything about that, but this one, now, again, this is a real thing, dudes. I mean, it's a real thing. So, yes, Phantom Sex, Ann. So
We have the funniest listeners.
you could think, okay, it's kind of the way I look at it. Succubus and incubus always to me was more of an elemental entity, demonic, different feel like that. But if you think about it, there's also been multiple cases we've all heard of. Either you hear of the entity with Barbara Hershey. I believe, again, that was more of a extra dimensional, more of the demonic realm, or at least minions type. I don't think that was human. Now, if you're just talking about human ghosts and their interaction with people, we have heard of plenty of instances. We just saw it in the Haunting, Anatomy of a Haunting we did a couple weeks ago, where she was being grabbed and touched. Her husband could feel it when he put his leg over. Do you guys remember that? So it's not so far-fetched to think that you could have consensual sex with a ghost. I mean, we've heard wackier things, so I can't say that's impossible. Let's just put it that way. I can't say that it's completely possible either. But I think some form of it must be possible because people are marrying dead people. Live people are marrying dead people. And it's called posthumous marriage. I shit you not. I have no idea how that means if you... Look, I don't have a clue. Let's do the story and you'll see. So, who I'm going to introduce tonight, I would like to say one more time, and it will be in the description. I've got the music you're listening to is Drunken Sailor by the Midshipmen's Glee Club. Delightful in every way. And you can find that on YouTube's audio library because why? Because we love YouTube, don't we? So there you go. I wanted to give them everything. Now, I couldn't do a video of this because this poor lady. So I did some snapshots and I will narrate for you. So enjoy this. Here we go. You are going to meet Miss Amanda Sparrow. Yes, Amanda Sparrow Large Teague. Now, afterthought. People have tried to discredit her. She says that this pirate was Jack Teague. That Jack Sparrow's character was written in and based on her pirate. I can't confirm or deny that. Historians have said there were Teagues that were pirates. So she might have, again, you decide for yourself as Nuke says, So here we go. Let me see if I can find this right one. And, oh, God, this is going to be. Don't laugh. Okay, here we go. I can't. Imagine, if you will, being able to meet the lady who married 300-year-old ghost pirate. Don't laugh. Stop laughing. It's a real lady. Have some respect, people. Yup, it's really true. Here she is. In all her glory. I kind of like her. I'd have a beer with her. Okay. Amanda Sparrow Large Teague. She is a spiritual teacher who is known to have married a 300-year-old pirate. She is completely serious, folks. This is the table she has set up for Jack. This is a corner of her house, and I want to show you what's on the table. It's actually kind of cool. So, you know, like any loving spouse, she gives the guy a corner of the house. It's just... This is great. Okay, here we go. Oh my God. It's kind of cool. I like all the stuff on the table. But she says he's got to have his spot. She has the rum, and of course the treasure box, the telescope, of course the black skull, very cool. Old playing cards, and of course rum. He demands that it's there every day. Now, I have to stop it for a sec. They met during her meditation. They took their time. She at first was very annoyed by his presence until they got to start getting to know each other a little better. Romance ensued. They found they had a kinship and a connection. Stop laughing, Laura. I can't do this if you're gonna laugh. Here she shows the wedding photos. These are touching. Please look. I like the way she has it set up. This is her. She's staring out at the ocean. In her wedding dress on her wedding day. I kind of like the picture. It's very Titanic-ish, I thought. You know, there's something there. Again, straight face. I totally believe every bit of it. Okay. So anyway, he was the one who proposed to her because she said she wasn't going to have sex with anybody she wasn't married to. So he popped the question. Here are the wedding photos. This is a lovely group. I have to say, they went all out. Now, Amanda will be the first one to tell you that she planned most of the wedding. She was the one who was in charge of the plans. She picked the colors, of course, the flowers, the venue. How they had to get a medium to stand in for Jack to okay and say the I do part because there was no way anybody else could speak for Jack other than a medium. She chose the whole ceremony. The only thing that Jack asked to have at the wedding that meant anything to him was he wanted, and I wait for it, a rum flavored cake. I'm not joking. He got his rum flavored cake. So afterwards, they were able to have consensual sex. She says that how do I put this? The most common way is the best because you can actually, you can feel how does she put it? The weight better. So, again, he demanded to have a ring and she couldn't figure out what to do because obviously his finger wasn't there. This is them at their ceremony. That's stand-in for Jack. I love it. Yes, Jack Sparrow. She picked pictures of Jack Sparrow because she said that they created Jack Sparrow based on her pirate from 300 years ago. So, I digress. This is them at their ceremony. There's the happy groom right there. Now, they had the problem. Here we go. Yes, Missionary Ann, thank you. And
I was about to ask.
Yeah, please don't. No. And so they had the ceremony, and I didn't want to take a picture of it because YouTube would have probably took it down for profane candles or, you know, maybe pornographic candle something. I'm sure they would have come up with something. But anyway, she had the she had the person that married them. There's a lot in that too, but I won't get into the paperwork. And hold a lit candle because she was also, you know, she's very spiritual and she wanted it to be a task to put the ring on the candle. Well, they hold a taper candle up. I don't know if you guys can see this. This is black candle. I'm not creating a spell here. And placed the ring on the candle, and they were married. Well, all I have to say about that is she should have married a bigger candle. But again, I digress. So anyway, here we go. This is the rest. This is the happy couple. I like the dress. I think she was a beautiful bride. I'm not joking. I mean, it's really a good look. So here we go. Here's the rest. Now, you would think that they would be happy once they got it all together. Not so much. They were married about 3 years, and here she is on a morning show describing the sad ending to this. Now, you have to understand, you're marrying a pirate. He's 300 years old. And I'm trying to pick my words carefully. Apparently he got a little, like, too out of hand and decided to possess her. Once he possessed her, he started draining of her energy. The poor lady got so sick of bigger candle. I know, Be Kind got it. Good on you, Be Kind. So now she's getting sick, and she started having all kind of blood issues and other things, and it was sad. It's just sad. So she says, you gotta go, Jack. You gotta go. So they got a divorce via, yes, an exorcism. So there you go. A story that's got a little bit of everything. This lovely lady married a pirate, fought everybody in her town, and there they are in happier days together. Let it be known, it's probably not a good idea to marry a dead pirate. Can't believe we did that story. There you go.
I think now, after having broken up with the pirate, now she only dates ninjas.
Ninjas. I know some ninjas. But anyway, there you go.
You know, we gotta befriend this woman, Cisco. We gotta get her on the show.
I gotta be honest. I'd have a beer with her. I think we could hang out.
Yeah, I think we could have a conversation with her. Be like,
I
"Yo,
really
what's
do.
up?"
You know, we could maybe get her on the show. She's very forthcoming. Now, this is why I dig her. She's, first of all, you've got to be badass to stand in a small town like that and fight to do this. She had to get a maritime. She wanted like a sea captain to do it. Of course, she really thought it all out. It was a really pretty ceremony, but she's also, you know, kind of explaining that you can have. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm trying to make sense of it, and I'm having a hard time, but I can't deny it can't happen. You know, I'm trying to be open-minded about it. That's right, Sean. I mean, I just don't. The Cisco Springer show, yeah, right? There's be no fighting here. I am security. No. So, I don't know. I want to like her. What do you think, Laura? As a woman, what do you think? You just no, get away?
As a person, I think she's mentally unwell.
But so many of us are, sweetie.
but okay, so I understand where you're coming from when you say that maybe it is possible. Maybe, you know, I of course believe in ghosts and all that, but okay, she had to get a medium to translate for him at the wedding. So how the hell is she communicating with him otherwise?
No. Oh, I'm sorry.
That doesn't even make.
No, don't misunderstand me. That was my fault. She can communicate with him. She spent, how did she say it? There was a courting time where they just got to know each other. They sat and had long talks and all this other stuff. She could hear him and energy.
Okay.
She is a medium. However, she could not speak for him legally.
Oh, okay.
It was the rules that they had to have a medium. I want to see the documents. That they had to have a medium speak for Jack and make it legal so they could be legally. She was actually legally married.
I mean, but that's crap too. There. How do you prove that someone's a medium?
No clue.
Exactly.
No clue.
I want this woman on the show. We need to invite her.
Okay, I think I'm busy that night.
You know you're gonna be in the chat, girl. But and she's very forthcoming to how things worked, if you know what I mean. And when you listen to her, It's like listening to somebody when you're trying to determine whether they're BSing you or not. She's not. She's telling you what she believes. And again, when we're in this, when we're in this subject, we hear many stories of people being abducted, or people saw Bigfoot, or people did this, or people played checkers with, I don't know, Swatch goat, or what's the new thing now? Sheep
Oh,
Swatch,
yeah.
something. But, all these different things. And, you can't really go into it disbelieving them before it's even done. You kind of go, okay, put that in my possibility thing. People are doing this. People are marrying dead people. I don't get it, but I actually saw a show that, and I had to look it up, but the lady actually married a doll. like a what do you call it? A ventriloquist, creepy thing. And it was a
Oh,
zombie
I know a
ventriloquist.
few instances of that.
So what is this
Over in
happening? Really? What is happening in the legal papers that this is? I don't get it.
I don't
That
get
part
it
I
either.
don't get at all. I can believe the
I don't know.
sex with a ghost
don't
more
know.
than I can believe that somewhere in the city, there's there's papers that say this
Yeah.
person is married to this person. I don't even know that this person existed. Does she get half his treasure chest? She better. All she got was a lousy freaking candle. She's providing all the stuff as far as I can see. She's buying them high-end rum, beautiful antique playing cards, the beautiful globes. I mean, this isn't cheap stuff. This is nice things that she's got there on the table, And what does she get? A ridicule from the town, shunned, Can you imagine being at the grocery store, picking fruit next to, you're picking your oranges, your kumquats and stuff, and here she comes in, and it was a lovely ceremony, I thought.
I want to know about the last human boyfriend she had before she met this pirate dude. That guy must have been.
Well, I was, the reason I put this part, the reason I put this part, it's a silly show, but we were going to leave you laughing tonight, guys. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that again, but hang on. Let me turn it down. I want to show you this picture. I'm sorry. It's so loud.
I want to know about the guy who made her swear off human beings. She's like, I just want to hook up with
what
ghosts
ruined
now.
her for human?
Yeah.
You know what? Until if you go pirate, you might not go back. But wait, I want to show you this. Here's the table again. But then again, a lousy candle. And you can see here on the table, this is beautiful stuff. I mean, I like this stuff. Look at the skulls and it's good rum, and it's, I don't know. A Jack Sparrow over the thing. See, that's the goofiest part. Like,
Yeah, I just saw that.
Why did they blur out Johnny Depp's face? We all know what he looks like.
Right? I don't know. Maybe they couldn't maybe it cost too much to show his face. But there's again, I like the globe, and I'm digging a lot of the stuff. There's the cards. That's not a cheap set. This is antique cards. The boxes were gorgeous, but the cards themselves were very plain and very large. Have you ever seen the old playing cards? I'll have to get you all some pictures. But what's Aunt Edna saying? Is she going off over here? Did I miss it?
No,
This broke my heart.
Everybody's so funny.
This picture right here absolutely broke my heart. I mean, it reminds me of every widow walk. You guys know what a widow walk is? We've heard it in a lot of the stories, and in a couple of them that I played too. In a lot of the shore towns and the coastal towns, they had what was called a widow walk or a widow watch, and that's where you got most of those torrent-shaped rooms on top of these old Victorian places, and you'd usually have an outside walk or what's another word for it? Not a promenade, but something close to that. But basically, you could see the sea, so you could see the horizon and watch your ship come in. And this woman standing here on the beach waiting for her guy to come back, and it's sad because he's not there. Or if he is there, he's not showing up. You couldn't get a good paranormal investigator with a good flirt to get a nice wedding photo? I mean, I'm just asking questions.
You know how I interpret that? You know how I interpret that photo, actually, Cisco?
It's sad.
I feel like, to me, it's like, man, she turned her back on reality.
Well, you know what? Maybe she did. A lot of people
Yeah.
turned to drugs. She turned to dead pirates. I get it. I mean,
turned to
look at
pirates.
this. These are happy people. She went to a lot of trouble here. Beautiful bride. Beautiful choice of dress. Look at her. She went all out, and and for it to end in divorce and exorcism, it's just another sad tale of love lost, and my goodness. I don't know. How do y'all feel about that? Would you ever marry a ghost? So if you, wait a minute, Aunt Edna, here we go. Here, look out. Here it is. So if you bang a ghost and you're married, is that really cheating? I don't know. Good question. I wonder if there's documents on that. They got documents on how to marry dead people. There's got to be one that answers that question. What do you guys think? AJK, I'm going to be careful with these.
You got to be careful with these.
Should I be careful? My ex-wife scares me, but dang, a ghost. Yeah. I don't know. Sounds like the perfect man. Well, I don't. He seemed to be a little trouble in the end there, so I don't know. I mean, he possessed her for Pete's sakes and made her sick. She was in and out of the hospital. It's really sad, all the things that happened to her, until she just said, "That's enough. He just wanted too much of me." So
I think everyone in the chat is in agreement that we need to bring this lady on the show.
Yeah.
Everyone's like,
I think she was really very, very lovely. Susan, I do too. Wasn't it a nice?
Just stop it, Cisco.
I would like to go, and I would like to. I wish I could have gone. I would have had a blast. I swear to God, I would have had a blast. I would have said, "Can I dance with the groom?" I wanted to dance with the groom. We'd have been out there kicking up sand and drinking rum, baby. And I'd have been whispering in his ear, "Give the poor lady a bigger candle. What's wrong with you?" So there you go. Get her on. Let's do it. I think it's a sad story, but we're going to have to put it on Rumble or something, because she gets pretty graphic, and she has no bones about it, and she's very straight-faced. She's a spiritual teacher, and she's just in it to win it, man.
now I know. Now I want to know more about her students, like the people who are signing up to get spiritual lessons from her.
Yeah.
You should do it, Donny, and find out.
Maybe I should sign up for her class.
Yeah, you live closer to where she's not far from, I think she's still there.
I would just go to her and be like, teach me how to hook up with those
Donny. You go be with her a week, see what she teaches you, and come back and tell us. Bring her on, do it, Cisco. I'll try. I'll try for you. I would love to have her on. I really would. I know, Laura. I know you'll be in the chat. No bones, and he's a pirate. There you go. No bones, and he's a pirate. Well, I was going to bring up bone jokes, but he's not a skeleton. He's a ghost. He doesn't have a skeleton anymore. It's very complicated. She's not far from Crazy Town Blues says. You get a call. My husband, the dead pirate, has possessed me. Is that a 911 call? And you get there and you're, oh my God in heaven. I've heard some stuff, but man, this has it all. It has it all. Does it not have it all? I mean, it's romance, sex. You got the succubus, incubus, whatever that is. Again, it seems to be that's something different, but wow. Had you guys not ever heard this? She's not the only one either. There's other women that have married dead pirates. And it's weird. It's so weird because you don't hear of many women marrying dead, mechanics or dead this. I'm just hearing about the pirates, but maybe that's just because it's showing up.
Well, I mean, I've heard stories about people having sex with aliens. So.
What?
Yeah. That's a whole nother. I got 3 books up there of future guests that I'm reading through these books. And
I don't know if you had to choose between having sex with a ghost or an alien. Like if you can only choose one or the other, I don't know.
Ghost, please.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, what's the alien?
What if it was like a hot alien or an alien that had the ability to change shape or something?
Question.
No.
Does the aliens is still the candles, or what's the alien look like?
Okay, it's a gray alien, like with a wig.
Wait, get down to the most important questions. Which way does he put the toilet paper on the roll? Does he put the toilet paper on the roll as it face forward or back, or does he just sit there and he waits for somebody else to do it? I got questions. Because
you guys
I'm too old to put up with crap.
Like if I had to hook up with like one of the aliens from like the Friendship or like the Nordic aliens, I'm like they're all like super attractive and good looking. That wouldn't be so bad.
This is too funny. I mean, Susan says you never know what you're going to get with an alien. It's like a box of chocolates, right, Susan? Never know what you're going to get. I had to pay the alien, Glenn says. Okay. I heard alien. Oh, wait, we're not putting that one up, AJ, but thank you for that.
There's
And
another.
I'm
Ian's
getting,
is funny.
because if I do, YouTube will do something. Just spell it out. Rope. Damn
He's-
Cisco. That's bad.
Ian said, "Did she shiver his timber?"
Guarantee. They were married for 3 years. I mean, and it's funny too because you think about it. She'd only, in the beginning, she had like a lot of control. Like she was in control. She was the living, and she was like, no, I'm meditating now. You have to go away. You have to wait. And he was extremely patient. He courted her for many months, and she said she wouldn't have sex with him unless they got married. So he says, well, you can do that, And apparently he pointed out all because he'd been around for 300 years, paying attention. He knew some stuff, and he said, you can go down to the courthouse. They have the documents. I mean, smart dude, right? I don't know. I don't know what to say, but there you go, folks. Pirates done round table style. I hope you all enjoyed it. We might not solve all the mysteries.
Yeah, we really came at it from every angle, didn't we?
I'm telling you
Yeah.
what, man. I think one of my favorite things was learning about the earrings, though I had never heard that. And I think it's absolutely amazing that pirates that would do all those things would still have enough hope in the honor of somebody, your buddies, taking those earrings, selling them, and burying you in the port you asked for. I believe most of them would have pulled the earrings off and tossed you overboard, But again, there's a lot of different theories out there. I'm hearing like they never really made people walk the plank. That's all BS. A lot of that stuff was made up in romance throughout the years in novels and Treasure Island and things like that. And Peter Pan made them famous. And then, of course, we had that big thing come up with Pirates of the Caribbean and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. And I mean, but wouldn't there would have to be some stuff too, because what does breath smell like after 300 years? I mean, you're getting that? Is there, that, because that can't be good. And I got questions, and some of them will never be answered, but that's okay. Maybe
I
if
feel
we
like we
can
would
get
have so
Amanda
many questions for her. We would
on
have
the
so many
show.
questions.
Yeah, and yeah. So I may
I
be
will do
impressed.
research, and if she is offering classes, I will sign up.
There you
Oh,
go.
God.
Take one for the team, Donnie.
Yeah,
And
I will do
you know.
like a double agent kind of work. I'll be like
There
a
you
secret
go.
spy.
You might
Get
want to get something growing here, because
Yeah.
get a braid or something going, get a little like Jack Sparrowish, and go in there and just bring rum.
Put
Yeah.
some hemp
Bring
in
rum.
your.
Yeah, good
I was gonna
idea.
say something else, but I don't know if I want to
effect,
say
for for the effect. Yeah, don't tell me where you're putting your hemp. I don't want to know. I love you both. Thank you so much. This has been wonderful tonight. I think it turned out so good. Everybody feels good tonight, and is everybody happy tonight? Did you have some laughs? You got some mystery and learned some things, and yeah. Susan says wear an eye patch. That'll do it. Arr. Yeah.
His wheels are turning. He's
would you
thinking
like
about
to
it.
Swab,
Yeah.
What is this about? Would you like to swab my deck? Yeah, there you go. Undercover paranormalist. There it is. Undercover paranormalist.
Probably wasn't the best strategy to announce that I was going to go undercover on the internet, but
It's probably not the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
But I don't think
Whoops.
she watches the show. She might watch the show. I don't
we got to
know.
get her. We got to
I
get her
didn't
in this
think
show.
He could be watching the show. He could be right here, right now, listening to this. We ought to be nice. Say some
I
nice
want her
things.
into chat. Actually, I just want her into chat, and just every now and then, just be like, "Oh, my dead pirate husband is here." And we'd be everyone in chat be like, "Hey,
Just
Jack Sparrow, what's up?"
Husband.
I mean, look, let me say this. If it's the theme of the night, and I think we can kind of close with this. If you're going to be a pirate, be the best damn pirate. You got to have the theatrics. You got to have the reputation. You've got to build that reputation. You got to be smart. You got to be, how to run a crew and all this. And yours, the lady that you brought forward, amazing, like the best pirate, and she doesn't get any play. I didn't ever hear about it. Others had, and I'm glad to see that. But I want to know, does he pay any alimony? Good question. Alimony. I wonder if he pays alimony. Like gold. Old doubloons are nothing. You know, wouldn't you like to know the divorce settlement? Wow, that's a good question. Wow. But see, so many questions. We're just not going to get them answered, but we've got to stay kind of open minded. You got to marry a psycho after you're dead, Lou? Yeah. I don't know. But I think that that's the thing. You've got to go all out. And you've got to, if you're going to be something, be the best. And I got to hand it to her. She really did a good job. She went all out and she stands by it. And she's just as, you know, like I said, when you have somebody who believes what they're saying, there's no tells, there's no, ticks and all this other stuff. She believes this, and it was something that was really, I can't imagine. It's amazing, but I don't take it like I did the first time. I had to sit back and try to be open-minded and say, I don't know everything. I don't know and I don't want to know what goes on in, people's lives like that, But I'm sure she's not the only one. There's crazier stuff out there. You know what I mean? But she went all out. You're going to go big.
She went all in on it.
Yep. Like I said, though, she could have, yeah, I guess so. But I just can't get past the smell. I mean, it's decomposing bodies and 300-year-old breath just to get started, with rum on it. Terrible. So out we go. Donny, thank you for all your wonderful research. Laura, thank you for your research. Thank you both, really, and Dylan, for being good friends. And like we said, we had other things planned, but with everything going on, we're going to keep it light for a while, and we're going to keep digging into this vast, wonderful abyss of paranormal and crazy and mystery and all that stuff, and we're going to keep trying to bring you good shows. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I certainly thank you for all your support. Please give a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you hadn't. Share out the show, because we all could use extra subscribers and everything else. We're not putting stuff all over to make money and all that other stuff. Go to TeePublic if you want some Cisco gear. You got Crispy there. You got the new, I believe the new, Steve and Cisco stuff will be up there, and the Cisco will be up there too. If you just like Crispy, he's there. If you like the Gatekeepers, that's there too. I love you, each and every one of you. I want you to stay strong out there, talk to each other, give a helping hand, be the light. Sometimes when we carry this light, it feels like a candle because it keeps getting blown out. Well, when a candle gets blown out,
we need a bigger candle, Cisco.
We need a bigger damn candle. Theme of the night. You know what I'm saying? But keep that bitch lit, too.
That was a good one, Laura.
Okay, yeah. That was it, baby. You did it right there. We love you all. Thank you for being here tonight. If you hadn't given a thumbs up, give it a thumbs up on the way out. Tomorrow night, I would like to say again, Steve is having a wonderful time. Couldn't be more proud of him. He is in his element and enjoying every bit of it. Mulder is, too. And so is Sandy. And it was absolutely wonderful. I'm hoping yes, Laura looks beautiful tonight. You bet she does. And, tomorrow night, what I think I'm going to do is I'd like to keep it open for Steve. If not, I'm going to grab somebody and we're going to throw out some Q&A and we'll just have a good time together, because I want to leave it open for him in case he wants to come in and tell you all about his adventures, because he seems so excited about it, and he's got video and
I hope he does
pictures.
come on.
I hope he does, but I don't want to get anybody excited if he can't, because they are on the road, and if not, we're going to come up with something.
He could come back another week when they're not busy and talk about it.
It was nice to see 13 Past Midnight make a brief comeback, though. That was cool.
Yeah, and he did.
I
he
miss
did so
him.
great, and he looks really good, and did big smiles and everything, and so that's what I'd like to do for tomorrow night. But either way, we're gonna have something. We never know what we're gonna get. Tonight we got pirates and stuff, and I think it was just amazing. So Laura, Midnight in the Mountains, tell us where to find you, darling.
I am
some
on
new people in, so tell us where to find you.
Yeah, I should drop a link too. I am on Instagram at midnight_in-the-mountains. You can also email me at midnight_in-the-mountains@yahoo.com. Send me your creepy stories or anything. And I am basically on all of the podcatchers. And I'm also, as Dylan said, became his new co-host on Creepy Unsolved. So that's fun also.
Congratulations.
Yeah, Dylan's great.
There you go. Hey DB123, yep, DM me. And here we have Marie. If you want sex time with a pirate, put your hands on the jack. Woo! We had some good ones tonight, guys.
It's full of good ones.
I love you all, and I'm really hoping that YouTube doesn't take down this live chat, because I definitely want to go and pull out some great Gatekeeper resurrected renderings of Gatekeeper gallery. So thank you guys so much for being here, and we love you. Thank you again, Jackie, for the wonderful wine and bacon flavored hot chocolate. It means so much to me.
I'm glad she's okay.
Yeah, she is. And Pseudonym and Kiwi, they're doing fine. They're putting all their time into helping some stuff that they're doing. And Patriot 174 also is great. So it's wonderful. Everybody's good, and I love each and every one of you. Like I said, help each other out. Keep your candles burning. Don't say anything. We gotta get out of here. I love you all. Thanks again, guys. You're just the best buds, and you guys too, Gatekeepers. Go out there and make a difference. Be good humans, make good choices, and here we go. Good night, everybody. Gosh, this is great.
Good night. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, babe. Thank you so much, guys. Here
So
we go.
fun.
I know it was. Absolutely. I can't find the thing. Da 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 da. Arr. Good night.